Jay Crawford, Adam the Bull, Garrett Bush, and so many big names, it would take me hours to say all of their names. The ultimate Cleveland sports show. Booyah!
Can we get Jason a glass of water or something out here?
Oh, here we go.
Can we get Jason some water?
Here we go.
The man of water, for crying out loud.
I need water.
Welcome to the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show. It's Thursday of preseason week number 3. Don't expect to see the starters.
More importantly,
Yeah.
high school football tomorrow.
That's
night.
right.
Avon Lake, home against Strongsville.
What
Let's
happened
go
to your
Short.
water?
It's right here.
Oh.
It was someone brought it to him.
All right, so like 30, like
Yeah,
20
high school
seconds
football
before
starts this weekend.
20 seconds before the
which
show.
is like a holiday around Ohio.
It is.
It's big.
Yeah.
I'm going to the Rocky River game tomorrow.
I'm going to the Avon Lake game. That's why I stopped at my
Is
guys.
Avon Lake going to be good this year?
They're good every year.
They are good every year.
Of course they're going to be good.
It's a very
Yeah, the weather
hoity-toity town.
It is a hoity-toity town.
Your town is more hoity-toity than mine.
Is
We
that
go
true?
over this every
We need
time.
a poll. Most
Oh my
hoity
God.
town.
Hey,
Rocky River, Avon.
Wait.
Avon Lake or
We
Bay
have
Village? I think we throw those
Bay
three
Village,
in there.
I think, has
is
a
the most
slight edge.
hoity-toity?
No, Rocky River is by far. You have an natatorium at your high school. That
A what?
A pool, an indoor pool.
What did you call it, though?
A
It's a
natatorium. That's what they're
A
called.
natatorium? Who the
Yes.
hell knows what that is?
We had one at my high school as well.
Well, then you're hoity-toity.
I doubt that. All right, welcome to the show. Busy show. Busy show. Greg Newsome is going to be talked about on this program. I just gave away our 32 and 32.
Okay.
So if you're scoring at home and you know what number we're on,
Well, if you would have been
decide
here
whether you like
30
it or not.
seconds before the show instead of 8 seconds before the show, maybe that wouldn't have happened.
Actually, he is on my notes. It was done intentionally. Because when we tease just the number,
Yeah.
meaningless.
It doesn't mean anything.
Right.
No.
Nobody knows. But if you're following Greg Newsome's kind of up and down career, I think that's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair. Yeah.
Then you'll want to hear what we have to say about him being slotted where he is in our 32 and 32. I was fascinated by your NFL tickets plug on the rundown because I too saw the article in Forbes about the average cost of an NFL ticket, and I thought it was a mistake. And I started doing some digging, and I found out that it's not a mistake.
I've been sometimes when you work in the media, you cover the sport, so you're not in the business of
Too
going
close to the fire.
You don't really see it. And then when he told me that yesterday, I said, "You got to be lying."
Now,
Yeah,
I think the
insane.
key question is, are there reasonable tickets for normal people to buy?
There are, but Bull, the point is,
Yeah.
with that being the average price,
You can't get good seats.
you're pricing a huge portion of your fan base
Sure.
out of the price.
Sure.
Man.
We're going to tell you what that number is, and I'm telling you,
Yeah.
if
It's
you
scary.
guess it in your mind, you're going to be low.
They only
by
care
a
about the
lot.
rich fans. That's it. That's all they
It's
care about.
really unbelievable. And here's the thing. It's a free marketplace. It's supply and demand.
Right.
And I will assure you right now, if every ticket for the NFL was priced even higher than this average price, which shocked all of us, they'd still mostly sell out everything.
Of course.
It's so, I mean, they're not
That doesn't mean they
inappropriately
should
priced.
not make tickets that are reasonable for people who can't afford it.
I know, but
at least a
understand-
portion.
Say poor.
At least a
Yeah.
portion of their tickets.
But understand this.
Yeah.
When we sit up here and say, it's $10 million, go get player X who's got 1 year left in the tank and might suck. That's why. That's why these prices are where they are.
No, that's their excuse for why the price.
No, I mean, you got to pay them with something.
Now, I will say this.
They got plenty of TV money and all the other
Doesn't
things.
cover all expenses, not even close.
By the way, Taylor Swift tickets are very expensive.
That's true.
How much are those?
And let me tell you
I
this.
paid an arm and a leg for my Billy Joel ticket.
There you go.
So on the Taylor Swift front, I know this only because my daughter is a Swiftie, and we've tried to get her tickets.
You can't.
These tickets, guys, she just added 7 shows.
Still not in Cleveland.
Tickets, still not Cleveland, which is, she's got it. I don't know what it is. Her guitar player is from Cleveland, and I'm friends with him. And I've asked him point blank,
Man knows everybody.
why
This is why he gets.
is
what he
she
get
not
off.
adding Cleveland? He answers my texts on everything. He won't answer that. And I don't
Really?
blame him. He can't.
Wow.
You know,
But-
she paid for that cell phone bill. I will find you.
Did she go to Pittsburgh?
Exactly.
She went to
did.
Pittsburgh,
She went to
Detroit, and
Pittsburgh.
Cincinnati.
She's added Indianapolis, I think,
Jeez.
on the list.
Well, you get, yeah.
I mean, come on. She did Cincinnati.
Yeah.
But those tickets, guys, are on average, I believe, on the resale market, $1,200.
There you go.
But I'm told they would, if she was to sell all of her inventory, because understand, she just added 7 dates, 1/10 of the people that entered the lottery to get the tickets now have the chance to buy tickets.
Wow.
That means there's 10,000% more demand than there is for the people that
Yeah,
wanted the
that's insane.
tickets.
Yeah.
You could sell those tickets for $3,000 and they would sell.
You got anything else to say about Taylor Swift?
No, she's not my cup of tea.
I know. He's not going. Busy show. Let's say our first good morning of the day to McNuggets behind the glass. Hey, guys.
Hey, Jay.
What's going on back
Hey,
there?
G. Hey, Jason.
See a lot of
Bull.
crawling around on the floor. I'm a little
What is
nervous.
happening here?
I'm a little nervous.
The IFB pack fell on the floor. It looked like there was trash, so we just wanted to clean it up, make sure
God
the wide shot
forbid
looked
there
good
should
for
be
you.
Got to
guys.
have a clean set.
Yeah.
No, I needed a clean set. On top of that, we're also going to talk about Deshaun Watson clapping back at reporters, whether or not we like your quarterback, getting into it with people on Twitter, and also an exclusive. I said one-on-one on Twitter. It was really 3 of us yesterday, but we had Craig Porter Jr. for about 20 minutes yesterday. We taped the interview about 3 o'clock. I'm telling you guys, if he's not one of your favorite Cavs already,
You love this guy. You love him.
he comes across in this interview even more likable than I thought he would.
Is he going to make the roster?
He's on a 2-way contract. He's going to play back and forth. I asked him straight. I'm not going to give you his answer, but I asked him,
Okay.
what do you think is more beneficial, playing in the G League this year or being the 14th, 15th guy on
Yeah.
the roster? His
He
answer
gave-
was good.
Is he your Will Brennan of the Cavs?
Oh, yeah. If you come on the show, I will stand for you for life. Like, there's,
Mike falls in love hard.
if you come on the show and you're a good interview, we'll have some fun
You
with
know what
that.
it takes for Mike to fall in love with you? If you glance twice at him.
Attention.
Yeah, what? Wow. Oh, my God. I love this guy.
If you give him a nickname, then
Hey, hold on.
then you're good forever.
That ring true back in the day. If you look at me for more than 2-3 seconds, you love me.
I'm getting your number.
You got feelings
You got
for
engaged
me.
And
20
you
minutes
married
later.
Yeah, look,
I love the way you look into my soul.
Yeah, listen. You already know me. We might as well be together.
Would you like to get married?
You know, listen. We already together. I got a ring tomorrow.
There's a book in your relationship history. There really is a book.
This is a crazy
yeah.
book.
And it might be a hell of a movie.
It is.
Is it Hallmark or is it pay-per-view?
Thin line between love and hate too.
Oh, it's
The
pay-per-view.
great fondue.
That's pay-per-view.
That's fantastic. Yeah, the Deshaun Watson thing I didn't mention because we were leading with it, but I'm glad you did because that's where we start.
And before we start, though, I do have to remind people that if you want to be swagged out to the max for the upcoming Brown season, you got to check out fanatics.com and use the link fanatics.com/UCSS to get all your Browns gear, not just for yourself, but for your brother, your sister, your mother, your father, your stepsister, your step-cousin, your dogs, your cats. It doesn't matter who you're getting Browns gear from. If you're buying Browns gear this fall, you better be using the code on the bottom of your screen. That is fanatics.com/UCSS. And with that, Jay, let's get into our first topic.
Yeah,
of
let's
the
do
day.
that. But on that front, everybody needs fresh gear before the season starts.
Yeah.
So get that
Yep.
hat, get that shirt, and help UCSS in the process. I don't know.
So-
I'm going to let you guys.
Can I set this up for anyone who
on
missed
this.
it? Can I set this whole thing up?
Absolutely set it up.
Okay. So after Tuesday's joint practice with the Eagles, take tag board full here, Steve. A Philadelphia
Which, by all
reporter-
accounts,
This guy does this
the
all
Browns
the time.
didn't do well.
Well, this is the tweet that Deshaun Watson was responded to, but he
Okay.
tweeted out training camp stats versus Eagles defense. The Eagles defense definitely got the better of Watson during joint practice. Watson had a couple of really nice throws, beating good coverage with better throws. His arm definitely has the ability to make special throws. It goes on to say that he threw 3 interceptions on Tuesday and 2 interceptions on Monday, which Deshaun Watson then quote tweeted, Anthony, cut to it, simply with LOL blue cap emoji, which I will put through the younger person generator translation machine for you guys. If you don't know, Bull didn't know, that means bullshit.
Yeah.
Is
So-
specifically blue cap or just cap?
That's the
Well,
only.
you say cap, but it's the blue
Yeah.
cap's the only emoji.
It's the only one that got on there, dog.
Well, why need more caps?
You know.
Why do I only get blue?
Well, you want red? I'm sure they'll add one.
I mean, like to me, a red cap would be good. Like
Oh,
if it's a really bad lie,
This guy, you funny.
real
Yeah,
bullshit.
you're getting too deep into
Subtitle.
the
I do
You got to
think it is funny that they chose the blue hat.
Yeah, it is funny.
He has a point. Bull's not wrong, but
Of the,
Deshaun
of the
Watson
four
then-
of us, I figured Bull would be the one to say that.
Right.
Absolutely.
But the fact of the matter is, here's the thing. I said this last year about Baker Mayfield to fire back. Do you want to show what thin ears or thin skin and rabbit ears is a horrible combination for your franchise quarterback?
100%.
And that's where I'll start, and you guys
This
can plow
this
on.
really aggravated me
Me
because
too.
because I was like, you know what? We
cares?
pounded Baker for. I did. I won't throw anyone else. I pounded Baker for this. Like, what are you doing? And now I have to do the same thing to Deshaun. It's like, dude, you got far more important things to be worried about than what Elliott Shores Park is saying about you on Twitter. And by the way, I like Elliott. Like, I'd spent time with him at
He wasn't even killing him.
No!
It was actually complimentary.
What about that? The only line that you could even, like, the Eagles got the better of him. Okay. Like, what else in there is even,
but
like...
here's the thing that I took issue with. He was glowing, complimentary, made some nice throws.
Yeah.
He gave factual stats, which when we started keeping stats in practices,
It's stupid.
I know.
I think that's stupid.
Yeah.
However, somebody tweeted before Baker's preseason performance, in which he looked pretty good, which again means nothing, that he had thrown 9 interceptions in 7 practices. We're counting this nonsense?
I think even to me, even stats in the preseason games are completely meaningless.
Exactly.
They're out of context.
But in practice, to me, it's even more meaningless.
It doesn't matter. Why Elliott Shore? I think it's silly that anybody puts out practice
By the way, it's
stats.
provable one way or another, true or false.
Right.
And didn't Mary Kay corroborate those numbers?
Again,
So, yeah, if you guys want the snippets, by the way, just so we're all on the same
Mike,
page
it doesn't
here.
matter. It doesn't matter that he threw picks. Again, Jay, I'll give you the baseball example again because you know baseball great, as you were a player, as you still are a player. When you're in preseason, when you're in practice, when you're in spring training, I don't know what you're working on.
Yep.
You know. The stats don't matter. Deshaun Watson should have just laughed at that, ignored it. It makes me a little antsy that he's worried about things like that.
Especially after the last couple of years. If that didn't teach him, don't pay attention to the noise.
Right, and just ignore
tune it out.
Now, there's a part of me that likes when a player, like if I tweet something or say something, like when Juan Thornhill commented on something, I said I like it because I like to kind of go at it a little bit in a
so
fun
does this
way.
reporter in Philly, by the way, but you just don't expect it. You don't expect a professional quarterback to pay any attention. And by the way, the reporter's doing his job. If he threw 3 picks on Tuesday and 2 on Monday, like that's provably true.
Yeah.
And from all accounts, that's what happened.
And
again, now you're calling the guy a liar publicly.
And Watson should be like, yeah, I was working on this or whatever. Who gives
Tune
a
it
shit?
out. Don't even
Who
reply
cares?
to it.
I think it's actually even worse what I saw from Greg Newsome, where he's like responding to random fans.
That's really bad.
I mean, just
it's one thing to reply to an out-of-town reporter.
Yeah.
Part of it is like this is the generation that grew up with this stuff. So I think this is going to happen more and more and more.
You do?
Yes,
Because-
yeah.
Oh,
just-
yeah.
I
because
know,
these
but
guys
what
grew
about
up with
Joe Burrow,
Instagram.
who grew up in that generation?
I think
in fairness, nobody ever says anything bad about Joe Burrow.
Oh, I'm sure they
Well,
do.
Except for
early
Cam
on,
in
early on, he
Canada,
made
that's
it.
it.
If you search Twitter,
Yes.
because it is the home of degenerates throwing shit out there.
Yeah, that's true.
If you search it, you're going to find negative comments
Absolutely.
about Joe.
Absolutely.
And here's the thing: how did he see that?
Well, that was the other thing.
Why is he fishing
Is
for that
he searching
stuff?
his name
Well,
on
clearly.
Twitter, or did somebody
He
send
didn't
it to
add him, did he?
No.
Okay.
That
so
was one of the first things I thought.
And that's one of the first things I always think. I'm like, it's one thing if they at you, because
Right.
I don't even look at those mentions.
Right.
But what it tells me is you're going fishing for this nonsense, and to me, that strikes to the core of his insecurity. Someone who's secure in their abilities gives a rat's ass what the hell anybody is putting out there about them, particularly when it's fact-based.
Right.
The guy's telling the truth and doing his job.
I think he's taking a page out of the good old Michael Jordan book. Michael Jordan used to make up stuff about people that wasn't even true. He'd be like, what the hell is Jordan talking about? I never said that to him.
But he can do that and use that as personal motivation without replying on Twitter.
Well, here's the thing. I always keep it 100. You know, you go back. I used to say Baker Mayfield. You don't need to tweet, bro. Just go ahead and let them know what it
play
is.
football.
I think right here, if you want to say Cap, I think this is part generational because that generation does that. Like you got guys like Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant always gonna say something back. The younger dudes.
He also had a burner account, and
that's crazy.
And how does the general public perceive Kevin Durant?
They kind of look at
as
it
a weasel.
Like, but here's the thing: when you look at Deshaun Watson, I look at it like this: if you gonna put that out there, you got to accept what's going to come with it because the last guy did it and they was on him. So at the end of the day, I can't be two-faced and be like, you know what? It's cool that he going to do it because he want to use it for motivation for the year. Nah, I think what comes to the point is sometimes, and this is why I want to play people. Like, and just bear with me here. That comes off as, I don't know if I'm comfortable enough to go out the first game. Because I feel like if he was comfortable and he was ready to go in the offense, things was hitting like he want to, this says to me it's a little frustrating because it's like, well, in the back of my mind, I don't know if I'm ready to play ball the way I want to.
The insecurity piece.
And
That's
so
what
it's
that's what
like,
I think.
all right, well, I got to fire back a little bit. But if he would have played and he led 2-3 drives and he was balling and doing his thing, and he would have been able to put the hay in the barn and put the money in the bank, he would have never said that because he would have had some stuff to point to.
But here's how. First of all, you can't answer all your critics. Can't. Don't do it.
No. Right.
Don't try to do it.
Right.
You'll just run in a circle all your whole life. However, if he felt the strong need to do something to say to this guy, you're wrong, I'm right. You go out there in the first game of the season, not preseason game number 4 when he's going to see the field again. You go out against Cincinnati. You go 29 of 36 for 3 touchdowns and you post a dub. Then you clip the box score and you send it to him in DM. You slide into his DMs. And you know what? The reporter isn't going to say, look what Deshaun Watson did, because it's embarrassing to him. But if you really, truly wanted to get to the person that really wasn't criticizing him,
No.
But if you really want to tell him, send him the box score numbers from your first game and let it ride.
But here's he should. I don't even. He should do. Don't even DM him.
No, but I'm saying if you feel the need, like you're saying, he's got to scratch that itch.
Yeah.
Okay, there's a way to do it. Don't publicly
and I
tweet a hat at him.
I wouldn't be mad at him if he got it in front of the people and said, "Look, a lot of people. I heard a lot of noise during the preseason. I said I wasn't ready."
Yes.
But
that's fine.
That's fine. That is fine.
That's it. And then you say, moving forward, it is what it is. I know I ain't played in a long time, but hopefully this shows you what I'm capable of and this team is capable
As
of.
we sort of put him on the couch, though, for this tweet and try to psychoanalyze, to me, I think you touched on it. You sort of touched on it, Bull. You want your quarterback to be strong, confident, a leader, and to definitely tune out the noise. Yeah. What does it say to you about where he is?
It says he's angry. Like you respond.
Good point. No, good point.
I get negative tweets all the time.
Sure.
I respond probably 10% of the time to my negative tweets.
What is it that triggers you to respond to that?
If it really, like most of the time when people say shit about me, it doesn't bother me.
Right.
If you had a bad take, I don't care about any of that stuff.
Right.
It's usually if it's something personal, and even then, most of the time let it go. But like yesterday, a bunch of people have said over the last year, have made a comment about me getting fired by the fan, which I was not fired. I left the station. And I always ignored it when I saw it because I was like, who cares? But yesterday, in the beginning of our show, I made some comments about the station, some comments about G and Jonathan Peterlin. And I said that I thought it was embarrassing that the station, or that none of the hosts are allowed to have me on as a guest, because I've been banned by the station for being a guest. I thought it was petty, and I think it was ridiculous. Right. And so one person said to me, well, you got fired. They don't want you on there. And for some reason, because of yesterday, it pissed me off because I'm like, I'm sick of people, that like 10 people have said I got fired. I didn't get fired. And so it pissed me off.
Sure.
And that's the same thing here. He's probably seen a million people say something, but there was something about that tweet that pissed him off.
True.
Right, so that's true. It's different.
That's when you really want to come out of your skin.
Right. That's what
But I think the reason Deshaun looks really
is because it was true.
Unprofessional in this way is because what the guy was saying was provably true.
And it shouldn't even matter. Like if I were him, I wouldn't give it. Things affect people different ways. Even though this was untrue, what somebody said about me, it shouldn't matter. I shouldn't.
You know what I would have done, because I thought about it when I saw it.
Yeah.
Okay, if you're going to respond, which I'm not. I mentioned the DM thing, but there's one way that you could respond that sort of is a little self-effacing, perhaps, but I think funny as hell.
Yeah.
Particularly because it's Philly. Tweet to Allen Iverson, we're talking about practice.
Right.
We're talking about practice, guys.
That would have been a way to say your tweet's ridiculous, but I'm having fun with it.
I'm having fun with it. And as long as it's not bitter and angry, I'm okay with it if that's what you choose to do.
That would have been good.
But if you want to say, I threw 5 picks, but ... and then tweet, we're talking about practice.
Let me show you this. I'm asking Jason this because you was here around that time. When you get an athlete, and I'm not going to say that Deshaun is on the same level as him, but when LeBron left Cleveland, everyone loved him, and his skill was unquestioned. Right? He did the whole thing, the decision thing, and everybody flipped. Everybody flipped everywhere. LeBron, for a while, had this thing where I'm going to embrace being a villain.
He tried it.
And he tried it, right?
It didn't work well.
Because he was angry. He's like, all this stuff I done did for y'all.
But that's not in his DNA.
But the anger part and the vitriol part, that's the last to leave. When you're getting over something, that's the last thing to go. And then you come to terms with it. Okay, this is who I am moving forward. How was he in his personality? What change did you see after the decision when he went to Miami?
He tried to embrace the villain. He tried to embrace the y'all going to hate me? Okay, then I'm going to pour it on. And that first game back in Cleveland was one of the most spectacular regular season performances. He just
went crazy.
He just pulled everybody's pants down and spanked their ass.
See, that's how you speak, though.
Yeah.
You just let your play do the talking. You're a pro athlete.
Yeah. But he also got to the point of like, this isn't me. I can't fake this.
Right.
He needs to be loved. He'll never admit that.
Yeah.
There's something inside of him
100%
that needs to be
I
wanted
think,
and loved.
I mean, God, I hate to play psychologist here, but it's not uncommon for young men who grow up without a parent and the choice was the parents not to be in the home, for them to start asking at a very young age, was it me? And that's funny because we talked Tuesday about his tweet when Kyrie decided not to go to the Lakers.
Yeah.
Is it me?
Yeah.
And I think that's just shining a light on his soul. And there's a lot of people that are in that spot.
All athletes want validation.
Of
they
course
want
they
to
do.
be like. They want to
Look
feel
at KD
They've been
with
told
his
their
burner
entire
account.
life they're wonderful.
Yes.
Yeah.
They search for that. So yeah, the anger part is like you said. When you see stuff going out of your timeline, and this is why I always tell people, don't bury stuff, right? Because when you bury it at the most inopportune times, your emotions will make you take an L. And your emotions are undefeated. Have you seen somebody, like, I'm not going to lie, I talk a lot of crap about my divorce, but there was a time when I was just driving around and it was raining real hard. And I just got to thinking, like, I just lost half of my stuff. I broke down in the middle of the car, had to pull over. And was crying like I died, like a part of me was gone, and I wasn't really feeling like I wanted to be in a relationship with a person. It's just all of the stuff that comes around with it. So sometimes when you bottle your anger and your emotions up in one thing, and then one person can say something, because that tweet, that wasn't even crazy.
No.
He said, he made some great throws, he did his thing, but it just comes out like,
There's been a million worse tweets about Deshaun in the last
You
year.
know, Bull, you always say we can say 10 things about the Guardians.
Right.
You know, insert team here.
Right.
Insert player here. 9 of them can be glowing. And that one negative comment that you make, that, by the way, it's your job to make.
Right.
You have to point out the good, the bad, and the ugly. When there is an organization or a player that will gloss right over the good and focus on the bad, that's a them problem, not a you problem.
That's right. They want to hear what they want to hear.
They hear what they want to hear.
Yeah.
The most interesting thing to me about all of this is the fact that it was a Philly reporter, because Deshaun's blocked all of the Cleveland reporters. Has he? Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
now,
they're gone.
I am not blocked.
Well,
by
you
Deshaun.
haven't had a reason to be blocked yet.
He's
You want to test it? Write
blocked
something negative
all
about
of
him.
them?
Pretty much.
A lot of them. A lot of the regular beat
and I don't know
I'm a
if
little insulted that he hasn't blocked me.
I don't know if it was Deshaun.
You're not covering the team. There's a difference.
It's the
Right.
beat writers.
You're the-
I don't know.
you're right.
I don't know
You're a guy.
if Deshaun did that or if someone in his circle did that. But when he very close to when he got here, somebody went through and blocked all the Cleveland beat writers from his account, which is so stupid.
Yeah.
Like, you're making enemies for no reason with people that you don't want to make enemies.
That's the point. These are people that you have to ingratiate yourself to.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying kiss their ass. I'm not saying tell them
But
they're pretty.
you can
I'm
be
just
professional.
saying build relationships with them. You know who's great at that is LeBron.
Yeah.
I mean,
trust me, I know.
Yeah,
A master class. No, you should know. But
Yes.
LeBron, I remember one of the conversations I had with LeBron about Skip Bayless. And I thought when Skip came up, I thought he was going to say, I hate that dude. He has every reason to hate him. He chuckled and goes, he's my Howard Cosell. I love him. And I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, that is interesting. Because
he is the single most vocal critic of LeBron James, perhaps ever.
Because there are other people,
Not as
without
harsh.
naming names, who have been very critical of LeBron, and LeBron hates them.
I know he does.
Will not,
But
both local and national. And he will have nothing to do with
what's
them.
funny with the Skip thing, now he may have changed his mind. I haven't talked about him with that in years, but not even early on in his career. It was, I believe, after he came back from Miami.
Yeah.
So Skip had had a lot of years to dump on this guy.
Yeah.
And he just joked and said,
By the way,
he's my Howard Cosell. I love it.
By the way, it's not like the Browns beat is very tough on the players.
No, it was preemptive, Jay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was
In
really
most,
weird.
I think
Really
in
weird.
most of the cases, it was preemptive.
Yeah, and it was funny because Baker never blocked me either.
Baker
And
blocked me. I'm blocked by Baker, Odell, and Josh Gordon.
Baker blocked a lot of people.
Josh
And
Gordon
Trevor
never-
Bauer.
And I was as hard on him as anybody. He never blocked me. And I've yet to be blocked by Deshaun, although maybe I should check my phone now. Maybe that's changed in the last 25 minutes. But there's like no Cleveland reporters for him to see. I've never legit. I've never blocked anyone on Twitter.
Just leave. Just
But I
ignore it.
assume once you block someone, you take them out of your feed as well.
You can't be seen or heard from, yeah.
Okay, so there's no Cleveland people, very few that he's getting anything from because they're all blocked. So now it's the Philly, now it's the out of town guy.
And I know,
That's
I know
doing
for a
it.
fact he wasn't on Twitter for a long time. Like this, just
He
new.
shouldn't be.
Yeah,
I'm not spitting all over the place.
He needs to take it.
shouldn't
He
be.
needs to get rid of it because, again, I said the same exact thing about Baker last year. Thin skin and rabbit ears is the absolute worst trait for a franchise player.
Totally agree.
That is a quarterback.
Totally agree.
That is making the most money
Yeah.
for guaranteed.
$230 million.
You got to tune
And
that
you're
noise
tweeting
out.
at Elliot Shores.
Now,
That sums it up.
If this
That
helps
line.
us beat Joe Burrow in week 1, tweet away. Go ahead, McNuggets.
Yeah, please.
Yeah, I think, and I got some super chats I'll read at the end of this next part of the conversation, but the chat's on fire right now. They're dropping blue cap emojis like left and right. Kudos to you guys. Two things. I do think this is a generational thing. I think the younger athletes who grew up with Twitter are
But again, how would you answer like that Joe Burrow isn't doing that?
he might. Some guys are more on Twitter. I mean, Anthony barely tweets, and he's younger than all of us. So it's just a person-to-person thing. But I don't think it's as crazy.
Right.
At the end of the day, if he plays well, you better back it up. If you don't play well in your answer, it gets ugly for you real quick. So
You aren't kidding. You just opened the can.
the second part of this topic that I want to hit with, and Bull brought it up this morning, is the way, and it's partially related to this, the way training camps covered, the overanalyzation of literally every throw, every snap, every video.
It's ridiculous.
To the point of where a colleague of Jason, Zach
When did
Jackson,
that start,
wrote an
guys?
article.
We're all to blame. We're all part of this.
I mean, we
I
talk
know, but
about-
like
we talk about
I'm
it
talking
too,
about
but-
actually keeping box scores on.
I mean,
quarterback.
it's
to me-
insanity.
Because to your point, like
Yeah.
for instance, a pitcher might go in spring training and say, "I'm just throwing fastballs and sliders
That's
today,"
it.
and that's it.
That's
it takes
it.
about 5 pitches for the dugout to realize, guys, he's either coming hard or slider.
Well,
That's
I
it.
mean-
He's not throwing changeup. He's not throwing the and
Pause.
he gets beat up.
Yeah.
Well, he wasn't trying to get outs. He's trying to work on his location. Same thing can be true for a quarterback. Maybe today's work on item was stop throwing to the receiver, throw to a spot, or whatever the case may be.
And in the same vein, like with a DTR situation, it's like if I have a hitter in spring training who hit 7 home runs, but they're all off A-ball pitchers, I don't care.
Doesn't mean anything.
Until they do it against major league pitchers in a real game, I don't care.
I'm with you.
Here's the only thing I'll say
Yeah.
in rebuttal to that. You mentioned Zach,
Yeah.
and Zach's been pretty harsh and critical of Deshaun this preseason. And Zach's been around football a long time. He worked for the team.
Yeah.
Like, he knows what he's talking about. And when he says, guys, this doesn't look good, I tend to believe him.
I heard the same thing from our producer, Channel 3, that went to Philly.
Yeah.
He said, look, Monday was okay. Both offenses looked really bad.
Yeah.
Tuesday was, I said, was it just that they got beat by the defense? He goes, no, they were awful.
Yeah.
But this is the reaction.
And he
to-
said particularly in the red zone.
The reaction to Zach by fans is indicative of a bigger problem in our society, in America in general. We, in all walks of life, most of us pick our camps, and we only want to hear from other people in that camp.
That's very true.
Yeah.
Whether it's politics,
But at some point you
religion,
can't ignore.
No, we ignore.
Well,
no, that's what we do.
With players, we don't, because and I think the perfect example of that was Baker Mayfield.
Well, they ignored for a while.
But
For a long time.
Juxtapose the
Yeah.
feeling in this city and around this organization on New York Jets night, Thursday night. Okay?
But
everybody, I was in the stadium, we were walking out, everybody was saying the same thing. We found our guy.
yeah.
And then for a long time, they believed they found their guy.
Jay, and
but
they
at
still
some
believe.
point,
Most of them still believe.
No.
100%.
No, I
Jay,
disagree with that.
Trust me.
I disagree with that.
If Baker Mayfield plays 3 good games for Tampa Bay,
2.
they're all coming out of the woodwork.
1.
They're all coming out of the woodwork.
They will, but
they're
Bull,
still there.
There's no denying this.
Yeah.
When he lost the fan base here, and I think everybody would agree he did, right?
He lost the fan base at the very end when
I
the
don't
writing
know.
was on the wall.
I thought he
No.
well, when it was obvious.
Even
to
when he
me.
went on Twitter and was like, "Oh, I don't know what's happening," and people were still defending him.
Listen,
Even
you're always
at
going
the
to
end,
find people.
there's still
you're going to find
quite a few.
individuals and people, and sometimes you have to ignore the minority
Can we get-
and listen to the
There's
majority.
There's still a lot
what
of the
percentage?
audience.
Can we get a
Pull it.
percentage?
There's
Pull it.
still, I think it's still 50% of the fan base.
Pull it. It's a great idea. Pull it. What percent of Browns fans
Yeah.
believe that Baker Mayfield could come back here and be a successful quarterback?
I even think there's some that won't admit it now, but the second he is, they're ready to pile on.
I told you so.
They're all there. They're
Well,
waiting.
that's recency bias, though. I mean,
Everything's recency bias.
last year when he had 3 days to prepare as a LA Rams quarterback and
Yeah.
lit up the world
Right.
on a primetime stage, of course
But
everybody's
we
going
are,
to look at
as
that.
as a country, as a society, there's many people in our side that are no longer interested in facts. They think whatever they say is a fact.
So do you think
They-
that no one changed their mind on Baker Mayfield?
I do think there's some people, just like in politics, just
I
like in
agree with
religion,
that.
there are some people that are willing to listen.
Yes.
Unfortunately, in all these walks of life, generally the loudest people, and I say that because I'm one of the loudest people, but I don't feel like I am this way, but most of the loudest people are on the extremes, and they've picked their camp, and they will not change,
It takes
and
a
they're not
very long
interested
time.
in listening to
They're-
anything that anybody has to say that's not in line with what
You'd
they
say
believe.
that's the majority of people?
I don't know, no, but it's
It's a big percentage.
It's a decent-
See,
it's
I
a
would
big
agree
enough
with that.
percentage.
I don't think it's everybody, but
No.
I do think it's
I think it's-
maybe 40% of the
it's-
folks
yes. it's about
are tuning
30
out everything because they've already made up their mind.
It's
it.
about 30%. Here's how the pendulum swings.
I hope you're right. I hope it's a smaller number
The
than I think.
pendulum swings when this is why people say, don't talk politics, but it happens in presidential candidates, right? You pick one guy, he's either liberal or conservative, so when he's in office, we're building up steam back here. So now, when the conservatives get in office, they're ready to go. When you talked about Baker, people thought he was the guy. I believe that there's 35% of the people that still are sympathetic to Baker's plight. Now,
Not sympathetic. I'm talking about think he can come
They
in here
still
and do the
believe
job.
they think he
Because you
got
can
screwed
feel
by
sorry for a guy
they
like
think
Johnny
he got
Manziel.
screwed by the
But-
Browns because
but
he was hurt,
they-
and
yep.
that last year was unfair because he was
Yep.
on
Yeah,
a
but that's
terrible
different
team.
than sympathetic. Sympathetic.
Yeah, no,
I'm sympathetic to Johnny Manziel. I don't want him to be the quarterback.
Well, but there are. I would say there's about 25% of the people who still believe that Baker Mayfield can be a quarterback.
That might be accurate.
Now,
That might be accurate.
Now, here's the thing: that 25% is here. They're not saying anything
Right.
because there's nothing to talk about yet. But if Deshaun Watson is over here, now he is the antithesis of what they like. So now Deshaun Watson has to prove to them through mental gymnastics or whatever the case may be.
No, great play.
So people in that 25% will say if he doesn't go to the AFC Championship game, it's a bust.
Yeah, no, it's great play though. That's how you convince people.
But the
Win
bar,
games, play great, be quiet, stay out of the way with this nonsense replying to negative tweets.
But if you
Play
ask,
and win.
them, what would it take for them to get on board with Deshaun Watson being a franchise quarterback? They would say something along the lines of something that is very difficult to do. Super Bowl this year, MVP or AFC Championship.
Why is
game.
any of that unfair? That's my expectation.
Well, some would argue.
Yeah.
Baker Mayfield was here for 3 years, and that was not the expectation.
He wasn't the highest paid player in the league.
The expectation for he was the number one player overall.
But he wasn't the highest paid
Jay's
player.
right on this. Jay's right on this.
Expectations
There's a
are
lot of number one
determined by
overall
paycheck.
quarterbacks that don't have that type of
So-
expectation.
but
when you sign for $230
No,
million
I don't-
guaranteed,
yeah.
that's
That
the
changes
expectation.
everything.
No,
It
what
does.
I'm
I can't have a playoff win.
But no. What I'm saying was what the rallying cry for Baker was. The bar was he's the best we had since '99.
That drove me nuts.
And so that used to be
Which
like
is a ridiculous
But
bar.
I'll tell you what drove that, guys. I mean, right or not, it was we were thirsty.
Yeah.
And he gave us a drink.
So
when a thirsty man in the desert is on his hands and knees and someone pours water down his gullet, you love this man.
Here, I'll give you even a better example. And I probably used it before, I'll use it again. You were starving in the desert,
Right.
and he gave you Domino's pizza,
Perfect.
which is the worst pizza
That
on the
is a
face
good
of the
analogy.
earth.
you
But
know
you're
what it does?
starving, so you're going to eat
scratched
it.
the itch.
Yeah.
It took away the hunger, and then you had shits for 3 days, and you're like, what did this guy just do to me?
Yeah.
But guess what? You're still hungry.
That's
like,
right.
We hungry and thirsty now.
Right.
And the expectation
They
should be higher for Deshaun
Right.
Watson because of the money, but also because he's a better
gee,
player.
I understand, like, if he was just a first-round draft pick, like Baker was, No, I'm not going to say you're a bust if you don't win the AFC Championship game or a Super Bowl. No. High expectations, you were the first player taken. Win a playoff game, turn the franchise around. However, he had a body of work. The hay was in the barn. Our franchise owner decided to make him, and he put a target on his back when he did it, just like A-Rod when he got the big deal when he was in Seattle. When you pay a guy like that, now it's very simple. It's not turn the franchise around, win a playoff game. Now it's, you're making more money than anybody else that plays this game.
I don't even think it's just the money.
I don't think it's the money.
As a fan of
is the money.
As a fan of the Bengals, I'm expecting Joe Burrow to win a Super Bowl. He hasn't got paid yet.
He will be the highest paid player in the game.
If you look at, no one's expecting Kirk Cousins to win no championship.
No.
He had the most guaranteed money before Deshaun Watson.
But and that was egregious. And much of the fan base said it was.
But nobody thinks Kirk Cousins is as talented as Deshaun Watson.
That's correct. Yeah. Here's what I'm speaking to is this.
Yeah.
You ask why people be over these polarized areas. When you get to one side, right, and they don't want to hear nothing bad about it, because when you say Baker went to the playoff, we loved him, he was the best since we had. In someone's mind who is in another trench, in another section, they're saying, you're moving the goalposts. Because all I heard for 4 years was that was good enough. So you telling me if Deshaun Watson wins 2 playoff games and don't make it to the Super Bowl, which is further than we've ever been in our lives, that's not good enough?
No, that is good enough.
Okay, well that's what I'm just.
No, that's not good.
No,
because when you're making $50 million a year and the roster decisions that are going to come with
as
that,
you see, right? This is why we're saying.
Well, it depends.
How is that?
Not good enough and a bust are two different things.
Baker making $8 million a year versus Deshaun making $50 million a year, there are different expectations
better believe
that come
it.
with that.
And that's fair too, Jim.
So if you look at Daniel Jones, how much he make?
I don't even really
41
care about
this
the other
year.
franchises because there are a lot of other franchises that make the same mistake.
And also, you're talking about teams that drafted those guys.
Okay.
This is a mercenary who came in off the street.
He had a body of work that was already...
Employees is employees. I don't care how I got him. I got a franchise guy.
And by the way, Daniel Jones is horribly overpaid.
And many will argue Kirk Cousins is too.
If Deshaun Watson wins 2 playoff games in the next 4 years, that's a huge disappointment.
Oh, big.
No, I'm talking about now. I'm talking about this year.
Just this year?
We haven't seen him.
If he won 2, if he
wins 2 playoff games,
if the Browns lost,
they're in the championship game.
That's a step.
If the Browns lost the AFC Championship game to the Bengals or Chiefs,
that's what I'm saying.
It'd be hard to kill Deshaun Watson.
That's what I'm saying.
Deshaun Watson for that.
Yeah,
that's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
I misunderstood you.
I thought you that's what I was saying.
And that's why I said I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
And G, to that point, like I love your saying there's layers to this. When Baker came in, nobody expected, you're getting us to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, he's a rookie.
There's steps to it. What disappointed the fan base in Baker Mayfield, and I'm going to throw him in there too because you win with quarterbacks and coaches, and Kevin Stefanski is, they took step 1, and we thought, okay, regression. Next year we go to here, and then we go to here. But we didn't. We went here, Baker's gone, no Baker, here, wait a minute. That's not the direction we're supposed to be going. This is the first year with Deshaun Watson. We better at least get back to here.
Right?
We better at least make the playoffs and win the playoff
that's
game.
bare minimum. That's bare minimum.
Right. Because if we don't, that's why, and we're going to transition into this topic, and I think this is the perfect time to, no, it's later. We're going to talk about playing time in the preseason, so I'll hold that fire. But I'll quickly just give you the thumbnail on this. I'm extremely disappointed in the way Stefanski is choosing to use his players in the preseason. Guys, you've said this.
I said that the last preseason.
This is a 5-alarm fire. Our building is on fire.
Yeah.
And we're going to just, we're good until Kansas City.
I would say the building's on fire.
I'm actually,
the building's on fire, and here's why. You've even said, you start with a bad first 5 games, there will be jobs lost. The building is on fire.
I look at it like this: for most people out there, there is a little warning sign being like, "Ooh, this temperature is a little hot."
Oh shit! I got alarms.
Because this is what I was talking about, McNuggets. I was talking about the fact that when you do these joint practices, people are going to try to extrapolate something from them. Yeah. Now, coaches love that. But at the end of the day, you can't tell me that Deshaun Watson is comfortable because he wouldn't have tweeted that. He's saying to you, look, I'm going to do whatever the coach is going to say. Tell me to do, play, win, and play. But you can't tell me if Deshaun Watson has 2 or 3
Yeah.
drives under his belt and is throwing the football. He only threw the ball 3 times.
Yeah. I think in
With
the
an
end,
average yards per completion of 4.
I think in
He only
the end,
threw the ball 3 times.
By the way, I think in the end, if he plays a lot in the final preseason game, I don't think it's that big a deal because most of the starters in most teams are not playing more than 2 games.
I don't even care what
However,
most teams are
interesting
doing.
point.
Don't.
I'll give you another team that you'll be interested in this point because it backs up what you're saying. Mike Hilton, veteran cornerback, played for the Steelers, now on the Bengals. And the Bengals, despite the fact that they've gone to the Super Bowl and the AFC Championship, have actually gotten off to slow starts in each of the last 2
right,
years.
they have.
And he made a point of saying that he wanted to play a lot more this preseason. He feels like that they've gotten off to bad starts because they haven't played enough in the preseason.
Very interesting.
And this is coming from a guy who's been in the league a long time, really good player.
Long time.
So
there is, and that's a team, by the way, that's on the up end of the talent cycle and has had a lot of success and has Super Bowl aspirations this year.
Right.
I'm talking about for a team that has been a perennial bottom feeder, for a team the last 2 years that has massively underachieved. I want my guys ready week 1.
Yeah.
I don't have time to step into the batter's box and look at a few pitches.
Are you okay with this?
I have always been in the camp of not necessarily playing guys in the preseason, but I tend to agree with Jay on this one that like there was so much at stake. We talked about this a month ago. I mentioned this a month ago before we even started. Of like, if there was ever a preseason where you want to start playing your guys more, it's this one because there's jobs at stake and there's careers at stake. This is a huge year.
That's why I say it's 5-alarm fire.
And I don't think it's a 5-alarm fire yet. I think that there's a gas can in the room and there's matches over there.
and the thermostat is off.
I think too many coaches are living in their fears on these things. The only downside to playing is the potential that a guy gets hurt, and like an injury. In the end, does it matter if Deshaun Watson gets hurt in the preseason game or the first regular season game? What's the difference?
But you've always been a
No, he just said Tuesday though that he's
Haven't you always been a?
He said Tuesday he's changing his mind on
Yes,
it.
around on it.
I had always been.
So let's put
leaning
Bull into 70%
not always,
that will change his
but
mind.
in the last bunch of years, I've been trending of don't play. And then I'm like, this year I changed my mind. I'm like, this is ridiculous.
Well, again, it goes back
Football
to
players got to play.
But the one thing, Mikey, I'll come to you in 1 second.
Yeah.
Well, I just forgot what I was going to say. So Mikey will go.
Playing time. Yeah. Oh, yeah, Mike.
I totally lost it.
Oh, yeah, we were going to hit another topic, right, Mike? Or no?
We got a couple things. I got some super chats I got to do first. And when we read super chats, it's brought to us by PCC Airfoils. You're looking for a career job with advancement and great benefits? Well, PCC Airfoils is a leading manufacturer in Northeast Ohio. All locations of PCC Airfoils at Eastlake, Menor, Wickliffe, and Minerva are hiring for all positions starting at $18 and up, plus full benefit packages, paid time off, and a signing bonus. You can apply online at precast.com/careers to learn more. I don't look at the chat during the show, but we have more super chats in the last 30 minutes than we probably had in the last 10 shows combined. So
I wonder why.
Whatever you guys were saying, they were up. Damon had a couple. His first one says, J. Bull Jason, we're officially enrolling you into the Culture 101 class from the chat. They are also assigning the set to watch Boys in the Hood.
Hey, I knew what Cap was.
I knew what
Cap was.
Don't tell me that I'm
for the remainder of August as part of the curriculum. He also sent... somebody back there is going to have to prove their eyes are this bad and pretending the chat's not speaking. We have folding chairs on deck. We do see the chats. Anthony and Earl do at least. We just are not going to stop the middle of a conversation to chime in. Rosamele Ibozili, I don't know how to pronounce that name. He sent his money in CA. He said the fan base stopped believing in Baker at the Packers on Christmas Day.
Fact.
Damon chiming back in. The Britannia Encyclopedia just called Cap on Jay Crawford. Damon also said, I'm going to take an entire segment reading these super chats. We will be heard. The panel woke up and ate a bowl of Cap and Crunch. And,
that's good.
That's a good one,
That's
too.
really good.
That was good.
Who was that
That
from?
was good. That was Damon. Damon,
right.
he may have put $30 in here by himself. Damon, we hear you. That one was good. And Gus Johnson
He wants
essentially
his
called
point
Jay a
heard,
big
so
guy.
Oh, yeah.
So,
Yeah, you're going to hear
All right,
me
very
out
good.
today.
Very good.
Stop playing with me.
with that, we just
read all that, and I don't know, are they on our side or against us?
I don't
still
either.
know.
Don't even.
Well, I can tell you,
It's
Don't
a
yeah,
lot.
let
You
Earl
wanna
chime
know?
in here. Let Earl chime in.
they totally against y'all. They feel
I'm
like
not
sometimes you're speaking out of place. You're trying to judge a young black male on the culture. You don't
Oh, here we
understand
go.
it.
Here we
They said
go.
You're old.
When I said the exact same thing about
they
Baker,
said
did
it ain't about the
I
money,
not
it's about
understand
the
that
talent.
white
It's not about
culture?
consistency.
It's
about perception.
Hey, look, they is consistent. They did
I'll
say.
tell you.
And I do got one question, Jay, before we move on.
Shoot.
So one of the things you said was the expectations is higher because Deshaun Watson makes $230 million.
Absolutely.
I tend to disagree with that. This is my question. Shouldn't the expectations be based on the level of talent or how much money you make?
No.
Well, it's both.
Of course it's both.
Yeah.
However, to Jay's point, and this is a good one because the pay structure is so different between drafted players and free agents. Like, guys aren't making big money in their first contracts.
Right.
That doesn't mean I don't have high expectations for them. I had very high expectations for Baker Mayfield. He started to reach them.
Yeah.
And then he unraveled.
Yep.
Failure. Period. Full stop. The difference between Deshaun Watson and even Joe Burrow. Now, Joe Burrow's a guy who will be the highest paid player. And if he thinks he has pressure on him now, just wait.
Yeah.
That bullseye is huge. A-Rod felt it when he got the $25 million a year for 10 years in Seattle. It affects everything. And it also affects player performance because pressure does what? It makes diamonds.
That's right.
And it bursts
The
pipes.
great players just win. Doesn't matter.
They don't care
Doesn't
about
matter how
the
much
pressure.
they get paid. We saw
Look
with
at a guy
Patrick
that's been
Mahomes.
under pressure since his rookie season. Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah.
He's delivered.
That's right.
He's a diamond.
Yeah.
Pressure does funny things to different people. And Earl, to your point, and why you're wrong if you don't believe this, the establishment has said to Deshaun Watson, you're the most talented player in the room.
So what is it that you disagree with, Earl,
So
specifically?
I'm not saying like with that amount of money you don't have to go out there and prove yourself. I mean, look at Jedrick Wills, right? We can argue he's an average offensive lineman. He's making a certain money. He got to go prove himself.
Sure.
But look at a guy like Derek Carr, for example, in New Orleans.
Right.
There's still an expectation for him to go out there and play well and succeed.
Absolutely.
And he's not the highest paid player. So
But
just
there's
to
not
me-
the same
No,
expectation.
wait,
Earl,
wait,
it's
wait,
not
wait.
the same as Deshaun Watson.
It's not the same as him, but expectations is expectations. I just feel like that expectations should be not only, but it should be based on how good of a player that you are. I have
It is.
expectations on certain
It is.
players based on their skill set.
Earl, the reason what you're saying is somewhat duplicitous is because how much you make has already been decided by what you have done.
Yeah.
Even when you're drafted. The hay in the barn is your college career.
Derek Carr doesn't. The expectations for Derek Carr, nothing. Guys never won a
No,
playoff game.
I
He's
don't
an average
expect him
quarterback.
to take his team to
He
the
got
Super Bowl.
paid, so
I guarantee you the head coach expects Derek Carr to go out there and play above average. I'm not saying that
He does, and
but
that's
I'm
fair.
not saying it's not different strokes for different folks, but I just think that not necessarily your highest paid player is always your best player, and I think your expectations should be based on the talent of the player.
and right, and
at
Deshaun
hand.
Watson is way more talented than Derek Carr.
I agree.
And so there's way more. Not to
Yes.
mention the Browns have a way better roster than the Saints.
Sure.
do.
And
so
there are-
there's more expectation. There's much higher
And
expectation.
I'm glad you brought up the roster
fair.
part, too, because if you have Deshaun Watson but a crap roster, you have to temper your expectations.
Sure, yeah.
However, because he is the highest paid player, if you have...
That's guaranteed money, but when you're talking about, when you say highest paid, there's like 6 guys above
No,
him.
but I'm saying I am talking
Whatever.
guaranteed.
But they're all those guys are in the same category.
They're gonna
They're
all
all
get-
in those
they're
same
all gonna
categories.
get that money. They're
They're
all
all-
gonna
if
get
they
that
don't
money.
win a Super Bowl, any of those guys,
Failure.
Mahomes and Herbert, Lamar, Mahomes has already won it, obviously. Burrow soon, Deshaun Watson, Kyler Murray, who's never winning a Super Bowl.
No, that was
all
a
those
terrible
guys. If they don't win a Super Bowl, it's a huge disappointment.
Yes.
Huge.
And it's okay to ramp up expectations
Yeah.
with the salary. That's what fans have done forever.
I don't feel the salary comes into play because salary. I could go to any Fortune 500 company, right? And I could go by and say that person works harder, that person's the smartest person in the room, that person's a great.
Yeah, but they don't
negotiator.
have a discernible scoreboard like the NFL does.
But who gets paid the most money?
Right, but yes, those guys. And
The
they're-
CEOs,
and
right?
generally the executives in most businesses are useless.
you.
But in football, the highest paid quarterbacks are all stars.
Yeah.
And they got to win. That's
and
it.
the Browns paid a premium because the Browns' ineptitude.
Yes,
Do you
that's
agree with
correct. That is 100% correct.
Sometimes there is a premium placed on things when you're not. If I got a terrible credit score,
Yeah.
guess what? My monthly payment higher than yours.
That's right. That's true.
I got to put a higher down payment.
My life insurance costs more money per month than my wife's.
There it is.
But you know what?
you know.
Well, ultimately, when we're deciding Deshaun Watson, deal, trade, contract, fail, success, ultimately, we're not going to sit here and say, well, the Browns sucked so bad they had to overpay for that position, so it's really not Deshaun's fault.
No, we're not going to say that. He ain't off the hook.
There is no excuse.
He ain't off the hook.
All
There are no
the, again,
excuses. None.
I'll give you the names. Herbert, Deshaun,
Lamar.
Kyler Murray, Lamar, Mahomes, and Joe Burrow about to join that group when he gets
Kirk
paid.
Cousins.
See, Kirk Cousins not in that group.
Not in
He's
that
not
group.
getting paid like those guys. He's not getting paid that.
He's overpaid.
He was the dude that had the most guaranteed money.
I know, but that was a third of what Deshaun Watson.
But I'm just saying, you
but
can't take him
it's
out
different levels.
Ask Kirk Cousins.
You always talk about different levels. It's different levels.
Ask Kirk Cousins.
Do you have the same expectations for Kirk Cousins as you do for that other guy, the group of guys?
No, but here's the thing. Kirk Cousins did go 12-3. Kirk Cousins does have a lot of great wide receivers.
And Kirk Cousins is shit on all the time.
And
Nobody thinks he's a great
Kirk
quarterback.
Cousins himself will tell you that he should get the
name the huge game.
He's never won a big game. Never.
And that's the problem.
That's on him.
That's the problem.
And that's what I'm saying.
Of course it is.
And that is on him.
You get paid, you got to win big games.
That's it. And if you don't, then you're Kirk Cousins. You're
I actually
failure.
think you could argue Kirk Cousins is better than he's gotten paid in a way, but he's not won any big games, so everybody thinks he's crap. But he's actually consistently puts up big numbers every year, but he never comes through when it matters.
And to me, that's all that matters.
And that's all that matters.
I don't care about
end,
the other stuff. I don't care that Aaron Judge hits 100 home runs in the regular season.
Hey,
Deshaun, what's he doing in the playoffs?
Deshaun, don't listen to that. You still owe me them 4,800, bro.
Yeah.
4,850, not 50. I'm being greedy. 42 touchdowns.
All right, Mike is dying to talk about DTR because he loves
Let's do it.
preseason football.
When you say DTR, you got to slow it down. It's DTR.
And before we talk about DTR, I got to get another fast read in. If you missed it last night, we had another Behind the Glass podcast.
Instead of saying I've got to get a fast read in. I don't understand that.
Because I want to make sure you guys understand what I'm doing here, because it gets cut out of the fast stream thing. And I don't even know if people know what fast reads are. It's not has anything to do with YouTube. This is for the Fast Ad TV channel that we're on. Whatever. We did a Behind the Glass last night. Me, Earl, Anthony. We're in studio, a little different than last time. I know there was some feedback, good and bad. Earl was monitoring that. If you liked the studio look, let us know. If you didn't, also let us know, and we will make it the best version Behind the Glass we can moving forward.
How'd the show go?
It was good. We went for about an hour.
Nice.
I think if you're going to call it Behind the Glass, you can't be.
You should be
behind
the glass.
We did laugh about that. We called it In Front of the Glass last night because we're technically in front of the glass. DTR is getting the start tonight.
Yeah.
Before we get your guys' predictions on DTR, Steve, you want to pull up the fan submission package. Is that ready? We asked the fans to email us their predictions for DTR's first career start. And we got 5 selfie video submissions on this. It's the first time we've ever gotten 5. Usually when I ask for this,
First
we
time,
get 1 or 2.
this dude is so hot. This is the first time people will go on camera and say what they feel about. We try to do this 3, 4, 5, 6 times.
By the way, before you play this, Jason hasn't been here much in the last couple of weeks. He's been on vacation. You know the insanity of the Imani Bates hype that we had here?
Ding!
Okay?
Yes.
This is. I said yesterday, I guarantee you, if you ask the fans who has a better chance of I don't remember the exact question, but
said
it
who
was
has a better chance to be a star, and it was 67%.
And I said, as much as the hype was for Imani Bates, I bet you it's even higher now for DTR, and I was right. It was 60-40.
So if Deshaun struggles in week 1, who's the first idiot that says,
There will be a torrent.
What you mean? They're ready to go today.
I guarantee you, we did a poll yesterday on the show. Who is the most important player on the Browns? And only 45% said Deshaun Watson.
Only.
Listen, we got to stop doing polls, guys. This is the same group of people that call Jimmy Haslam the best owner in town.
Hey, remember for presidential election they said the polling data was off. We just got to stop doing this.
I mean, it was off a few points. Like 45, only 45% answered that question correctly.
other vote
Who were they voting
I
for?
think Myles Garrett
was
got a
on that.
lot.
Amari Cooper got like 1%.
Amari Cooper.
See, it's different who's the best player. But there's not even a whiff of controversy as to who's the most important.
Is there vodka behind that glass?
We were having a conversation.
Wow.
The conversation was who's the second most important player on the team.
Which is a debatable
G
question.
and I said Myles Garrett.
Yeah.
Tyvus was a little stoned. He said it was Elijah Moore.
Yeah, he didn't want to.
Wow,
he didn't got all of that.
Tyvus out to lunch on this one.
Anyway, sorry, Mike. Go ahead. Let's
So this is 5 fans of UCSS. We appreciate you guys, and next time we ask, it's on the community tab. Send us videos. We will play these. But these are 5 fan predictions for DTR's first career start against
This is
very good.
This is
not his first career start preseason, but go ahead.
All right.
Hey guys, just at work here. Enjoy the show. Appreciate everything you guys do. My prediction is for him is 11 for 19, 1 interception, 1 touchdown, 172 passing yards, and 60 rushing yards.
What is up, my UCSS fam? It's game day. The Browns are in Philly. DTR is getting a nod. I'm going full G. Bush. I'm drinking the
Team
Kool-Aid.
issued only
My
shirt.
knees are out. They're shaking. I got DTR going for 215 through the air.
Oh, my God.
2 touchdowns. He's going to give us about 25, 30 yards on the ground. And the Brownies come out on top with a win. So, let's go.
Pretty much average. I think he'll go maybe 11 for 25. You know, maybe like a $125, $135. I don't see him really throwing no touchdowns. Maybe I might see him throwing like a forced pick. I do see him might use his legs a lot more. I see him possibly right again and rush touchdown. Maybe 35, 40 yards on the ground rushing. But yeah, I think once he goes against, you know, premier talent, I think he definitely won't have it as easy as he did in the preseason. But I think it'd be, you know, pretty respectable.
What's going on, UCSS team? DTR predictions for tonight's game.
Carson Cousins.
8 for 12.
It is Carson
91 yards
Cousins.
through the air. He gets a touchdown, and he scrambles a few times for about 21 yards.
Tennis.
Shout out to Mikey McNuggets.
Right between.
Shout out to Dante Whitner and Nick Chubb for the signatures above, baby. Go Browns.
Hey guys, love the show.
I thought that was
Tonight, I think DTR is going to go
Ken
18
Carmen
for
and,
24
John Fanta's
for 178 yards, and he'll also provide
Fanta
another
Carmen.
35 yards on the ground on, we'll say, about 4 carries.
Shout out to all those guys.
That was great.
That was awesome.
I mean,
Thank
all
you, thank
five
you,
of
thank you,
them.
thank you, thank you.
Tremendous. Do you know the guy that shout-outed McNuggets?
I played basketball with Matt. Yeah,
I knew it. I knew
Was
it.
he the guy I talked to on the phone yesterday?
No, that was Frank, different guy.
Did you or
right,
did you not ask him to send a video submission?
So we put out on the
Answer the question!
I want the truth.
You can't handle
I
the
did ask
truth!
Matt. I did ask Matt. I'll
I
be
knew
honest.
it.
He ordered the code
You
red.
saw right through that.
He ordered
You
the code
ordered the code red!
Hold on, but we didn't get any answers right away, so I was like, well, I need one, so I texted Matt. I know Matt would do it. And then 4 more people did it
And
organically.
he shouts
so.
them out. And you weren't going to say a word if I didn't ask about it.
Well, he legit watches the show every day.
No, listen.
He's the
we're
one.
thankful.
I told y'all the first time I played basketball with Matt,
Yeah.
I wasn't supposed to be there, and he was like, "Yo, you're McNuggets." And
Yeah,
he
that was
played.
him.
That was Matt. So
All
shout
right.
out. Matt's a
No,
really
we
good
are.
dude.
We're really thankful for that. And by the way, I think we could. There's something there. I think there's like whether it's a Monday rant where but it's got to be faster paced in my view.
Yeah.
And you got to hear from more people. But
got
I
like
think
5
Monday would
seconds.
be the perfect day to do it. You got 15 seconds. Go. And
Yeah.
give us your headline reaction to what we saw.
Yeah,
that could be
I
really
even
good.
think 15 seconds is long.
It might
I'd
be
say
long.
5
right.
to 10.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it probably would be 10
Boom,
seconds.
go.
So
Next.
it would be, knee jerk
Yeah.
snippets or
Yeah.
something. But there's
That
a
would be
segment
good.
there for Mondays.
Absolutely.
That could really. And I like
I
the
gave
viewer
no instructions
involvement.
for this. I was just like, send me your stat line. So it
No, that's
worked.
good.
But we got a
good.
lot of stuff to get to. So I apologize for cutting that off. But Bull, let's start with you. DTR's first start tonight. You heard the fans. Are you as excited for DTR's
I'm not
first
excited.
start?
I don't care what he does. I don't even remember what I gave you. I think I gave him decent stats when I texted
You
him.
haven't having a really good game.
Yeah, because he's playing against backups and he's playing nicely. None of this matters to me.
Wait, are those my numbers?
I really don't care. It's completely irrelevant. Anybody reading into his play is kidding themselves. And and I'm not criticizing him in any way. He's done an absolutely wonderful job in these first 2 games, but it means 0. Not 1%, not 2%. It means absolutely 0 in terms of what he might be as an NFL player.
I disagree with that. I think it
0.
means something.
I don't think it means anything.
If he's 11 for 11 with 4 touchdowns for 300 yards, it means more than 0.
It means 0
and
to
if
me.
he throws 8 passes and 6 of them are picked, it means more than 0.
I don't think it has any bearing on what kind of career he'll have.
No, not long term.
0.
But coaches are going to have a
the
feel
most
for it.
extreme examples that
I
are
did,
unlikely.
but that's why.
But still, I think it's 0 impact on who he's going to be as a player in the NFL.
What do you think?
I think my numbers were like eerily close.
Yeah,
to
mine were.
yours.
I actually had to check my tweet to Mike and Anthony.
Mike, you pull that up.
Yeah, Jason, you had a little fewer yards, but the exact same passing numbers.
You missed what I did there.
That's nuts.
Exact 12 of 17, 1 and 1.
Touchdown, 1 pick.
I had 97 yards. I don't think they're going to throw it downfield that much. But yeah, I'm kind of in Bull's camp. I don't really care what he does.
You don't care?
No, I don't care.
Do you watch?
I'll watch. I have to watch.
But would you watch if you weren't doing this for a living?
God,
I wouldn't.
No, I wouldn't watch.
I don't watch
always
the Bengals.
curious.
I don't
I'm
watch
curious.
the Bengals preseason games.
I'm not going to buy jerseys based on performances tonight, but I'm curious.
Yeah.
I want to see how he's handling the huddle, what his pace is. There's things that I think you can glean from preseason
Well,
performances.
but
I'm just not going to say,
Yeah.
I've seen enough, he's my starter, or I've seen enough, he's my number 2.
I really feel like sort of the cement. I don't know what I'm trying to say. The cement has been set here.
Yeah.
He's the number 3 quarterback.
The hay's in the barn.
Josh Dobbs is the backup. DTR is the number 3 quarterback.
And
I
said that after preseason game number 2.
That's the way it's going to be.
Stop, always stop trying to create.
Yes, it was always going to be that.
It's never
And
going to
next year-
change based on what we see tonight.
Next year, he's the backup. Like he's the number 2
Yes.
quarterback next year.
Yep, I agree.
But regardless of what happens tonight, it doesn't matter. He's the number 3 guy.
What do you have? 19 to 20. 6
I
touchdowns?
think I got a little bit along the same lines.
Wow, you guys all have 12 completions.
Yeah.
12 for 19, 170. Didn't I say he get 35 yards on the ground too?
You said specifically 36.
36, okay, 36 yards on the ground. Here's why this is. I look at all of it. First of all, because I like football. Second of all, I look at what happened to the San Francisco 49ers. When you're trying to go, this season is so long. Like football season, it encapsulates from basically July all the way until like February if you were a team.
End July, early February.
And so if you want to win a championship, I just look back at what happened specifically with the 49ers. They went through how many quarterbacks? And then you would say they have an opportunity to beat the Eagles, at least stay competitive, but they were thinking about putting George Kittle in at quarterback. Now, obviously, it's a long shot that he's going to be able to play or play in this year, whatever the case may be. But for me, do I feel more confident if I got a guy that I know can run the exact same system as Deshaun Watson and he's accurate and he's getting rid of the ball? Sure I do. Because at the end of the day, if I'm Kevin Stefanski and I know my job is on the line, I'm dotting every T, crossing every T, dotting every I. I'm going to do whatever I need to do to make sure the cupboard is stocked, ready to go. So when something happens, we ain't looking silly. We believe in DTR. We believe in Josh Dobbs. I like the fact that they did something which a lot of teams don't. There is continuity from what they want to run. You can run anything with Josh Dobbs because he's smart as heck. He has the legs. And by the way, Josh Dobbs was DTR last year. We love Josh Dobbs. When he was jumping over the pile, when he was doing backflips over people, and it was like, Josh Dobbs is crazy. Dobbs plays.
And I was saying the same thing I'm saying now. None of it matters.
There were people that said, he should be our week 1 starter.
Oh, yeah.
Over Jacoby.
Jacoby Brissett.
That's nonsense.
So,
Brad said it.
But I'm interested in seeing him.
Who did?
Brad.
I'm interested in
BS
seeing him.
there.
That's some BS. Sorry, the Brad graphic. But here's the thing. I'm interested in seeing him. And Bull sent me something the other day. It's even sneaking into the national media. Like he showed me a really funny tweet where like they like, DTR is better than Deshaun Watson. Like they didn't already
said yesterday.
That guy's
right? Funny, whoever he is. I don't know.
He snuck it in late too.
So I was on the lower end of everything. Attempts, completions, yards. I have him 8 of 12 for 105. But really, when you think of that, do we have his stats from each of his first 2 games?
We have his
readily
stats from
available?
game 2 and his total preseason stats.
Okay, can we see those?
Absolutely.
So
Steve,
they're,
give me,
174. He's throwing perfect games, but he's doing it against third-team defenses.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what he's going to be playing against tonight. 9 of 10, 102,
he
touchdown.
balling.
Like that's a perfect game, guys.
He balling.
It doesn't matter because it's against and here are his cum stats from
That's
the
from the 2 games combined, correct?
I mean, I think the level of competition that he's going to be playing tonight is going to be the toughest he's seen so far. So I brought him down a notch from what he's done. Because even if he is seeing the Philly backups, they're better than the other backups that he's played against. He's also playing earlier in the game.
Yep.
So I think you're not going to be seeing guys that are probably going to get cut. You're seeing guys that are fighting for depth position, depth chart positioning. So you're probably playing against 2s that are trying to hold on to their 2s or maybe crack into the 1s.
And he playing with a third-team running back. He's
right.
not,
You're right.
He ain't got a running game. He can just turn around and hand the ball too. So it's something to be said for that.
I'm curious to see it. I will watch with interest. I won't make any knee-jerk decisions off of this, nor would the Browns, nor should they.
Leave that to me.
But I do think Mike Tyson famously said, everyone has a plan until they get punched in the mouth.
Mm-hmm.
In the NFL, you will get punched in the mouth.
Yep.
So your plan is to roll out Deshaun Watson and win 12 games. That's your plan. In reality, even if that comes to fruition, it won't be easy. What if he suffers an injury and has to miss 3 games? What if Dobbs comes in and doesn't look great.
Right.
There is a chance that this guy could be called on this year. You look at San Francisco last year. You can't wipe off the map the possibility that he's going to play.
Of course.
So I love the fact that he's playing. I just don't love the fact that we're not seeing Deshaun Watson some more. But here's what we have on Deshaun. 3 throws, 3 completions for an average completion yardage of 4.
He should be
Not
playing.
enough.
He should, to me, he should
I
be.
need more.
To me, he should. That should be the biggest storyline that we've talked about thus far. Deshaun Watson should be playing in this game,
even if it's 2 series.
Yeah.
I just want to see that. And the other thing too is you talked yesterday about you don't care about practice, and I don't either.
Yeah.
But it was interesting that last year when Philly kicked the Browns' ass in the 2 practices, that it proved that what we were seeing in practice ended up coming to fruition on the field. The Eagles made it to the Super Bowl. The Browns tanked.
Yeah, but
I'm not saying that you could have predicted it off those, but the way they played out is that's the way the season's played out.
But it might have just been a coincidence.
It could have been.
Yeah.
But
I'm actually okay with him not playing tonight because they've got the last 2 days of working, and Philly's not going to play anyone tonight either. So what are you really going to glean from it?
I don't even care about the defense and who he's playing against. I just want to see the reps. I want to see.
Well, you want to see him because you haven't seen him the last 2 days. Fans want to see him because they haven't seen him the last 2. I get it.
No, it's not even the last 2 days. It's in this setting.
Game reps.
You have to remember, if you go back to when he played his last NFL game, which was 2021, before the games that he played last season.
I agree with this.
So there's still rust. There has to be rust because he didn't look rust-free for the 6 games, and then he went into mothballs for 4 or 5 months.
Yeah.
So
I agree with that.
It's human nature. I'm not saying, Deshaun, you got to be cleaner. I expect him to be rusty. What I can't tolerate is rust in week 1. If he comes out in week 1 and plays poorly, look out.
And it might not even be them. It could be just the fact of receivers.
I think he's going to play a lot in the Kansas City games.
They go hand in hand.
It's
the reps in games with the receivers.
Don't you think he's going to play a lot in the Kansas City game?
I hope he does.
Yeah.
I hope he does.
I hope. So this is my thing. I'm just, it's a scary place to be. You are going into, I keep saying it, you're going into, we're not talking about AFC East games. We coming out the gates with rivals.
Yes.
First
divisional game.
If you lose 3 of them, your season's over.
No.
If you go,
it's not over, but statistically,
you're
0-3 in the division.
If you start 1-3 and 0-3 in the division, your chances of making postseason play is single digits.
You're finished, especially in the AFC.
What you've done is you've increased the degree of difficulty to make it where you want to go, and you can't, because we've seen this in the past. The first quarter of the season sets the tone for the second, which sets the tone for the third and the fourth. If you can't win it in September,
but you can be out. You
can lose it.
And so for me, it's uncomfortable for a lot of people to say, I'm going to have to deal with 3 throws in one game, no throws in this game that you play, and whatever happens in the first half against the Kansas City Chiefs to get ready for the division game.
Right, because I look at it in total. Going into the 4th preseason game, Deshaun Watson will have thrown 3 snaps, 3 passes in a game.
That's crazy.
And
That's crazy.
If I'm management, I'm eliminating any possibilities for trip-ups. Anything. What are they? Well, rust could be one of them.
Yeah.
Lack of game time reps with your new wide receivers could be one. You can take care of those things. Yeah. And to your point, if he plays 3 quarters against Kansas City and is 21 of 25, then I pull back and I'm like, I think he's ready now.
Okay, let's do it.
But I just want to see that and feel good about that. That's all.
Mikey, do we have time to do my top 5 list, or do we have to pretend we're excited to see some players tonight?
No, we have to talk about some players that we're going to see tonight. And we got about 7-8 minutes before we get to Craig Porter here.
Rejected.
We will get to those things after, but I want to make sure we get enough time for that.
Yeah.
There's a couple other options outside of DTR.
Yeah.
Cade York and his kicks.
Yep.
Dawand Jones and Luke Wypler continue to dominate on the offensive line. Anthony Schwartz, is he going to bounce back? He made some nice plays in practice, according to reports this week.
That's a terrible job of you, even bringing him up.
That's a storyline to watch. You're telling me there ain't people excited to see how he does, and you're lying to yourself.
We all believe that he's already the decision has already been made that he's
Anthony
gone.
Schwartz is still in play.
He's
still in play.
Because he hasn't been cut.
They giving him every opportunity to go out there. If he catches 1 or 2 deep balls, guess what?
He's out.
He caught one in Monday's practice.
I'm telling you, don't be surprised.
I mean,
So outside of DTR, who are you most excited looking forward to tonight?
Honestly, I'm not going to be a phony. I'm not excited about anything. People get mad at me when I say I don't give a shit about preseason football. And one person said, "You're not a Browns fan. You don't get it." What does that have to do with anything?
It has nothing to do with
I don't watch the Bengals play preseason football either.
You don't watch their games?
Not a moment.
Really?
I don't care.
Interesting.
I don't watch a lot of spring training. As much as
I
I love
football.
baseball,
To G's point, I love football so much,
but it's not.
I can't. It's like a guilty pleasure. I know the preseason is meaningless.
Right,
I used to watch the freaking Pro Bowl.
That's
how much I love football.
You was a fan. You was a fan.
I think what has happened, why preseason football more than any of the other sports pisses me off, is because when people watch spring training baseball for the most part, or preseason basketball or whatever, like, we're rational about what it means.
Sure.
But people are
and
so...
we just want to, but we want to see the game again.
Right. But we're so irrational about preseason football that I find it so irritating.
Well, what are we? We're all what?
Fans.
Which is short
Fanatic.
for
Yes.
fanatical.
No, I keep telling you, I'm dead inside.
No, he's dead inside.
Yeah, you are dead.
I'm not a fan
I
of
look
anything.
into your soul and it's just
There's nothing
it's
there.
a black hole.
It's black
Jay.
darkness.
And that's, you know what? Because
take him
you
to
saw
church.
the sausage made for a long time and you stopped eating it.
Yes, I don't
and
care.
Listen, I'm really close to that, but I can't. I am that way really with other teams, but with the Browns, Guardians, and Cavs, I just can't. It's baked into my DNA. I can't.
And that's great. It's not mine.
No,
Are you
I know.
excited to see anybody
And you know
tonight?
what? That's why you're a great reporter. It is. No, I'm serious
You don't
because
give a shit.
the
I don't
truly
care.
great reporters. A lot of people say that, and I don't believe them. I believe you when you say
he
that.
totally doesn't
I
care.
believe
He's
it.
100%
And that's what
accurate.
it takes to be a truly great journalist.
Yeah.
I care a lot.
Well-
I'll be crying.
Or in Jason's case, a truly average journalist.
No,
Yes, thank
Why
you.
would you do this to
Thank
me
you.
specifically?
I'm kidding.
When we lost to the Broncos on the drive, I
I
stormed
cried.
up to my bedroom and ripped my Bernie Kosar poster off the wall.
Did you tell Bernie that?
I did. He knows. I tore it right off the wall. And it wasn't even his fault.
It wasn't even he didn't
No,
fumble.
but I didn't have a poster of the defense.
Yeah.
The whole time I did it, I was cussing the defense. It was on the 2-yard line with under 2 minutes to
Who are you most looking forward to seeing tonight?
Hey man, listen, give me my man Austin up there. You got a picture of him? Show my man. Listen, where you at, man?
I like him too a lot.
I like his hands. Pause. I like what he's done in preseason. He catches everything that's thrown to him. And by the way, he got a little burst to him, right? He catches the ball. Anthony Schwartz, listen, this is your competition. I think Austin Watkins Jr. has outplayed Bell. He's outplayed Schwartz. He might be on the same. He's been putting together stuff better than even Tillman, the rookie. I like this guy. I think he's going to make the roster. I'm interested to see what he can do with some first team snaps. But I will say this. I'm just going to be honest with you, man. The Browns, when they lost Marquise Goodwin, when they lost, guys like that with the speed factor, they're going to give Anthony Schwartz every opportunity to make this team. And the reason why, you haven't even seen Jakeem Grant is on a milk box. Have you seen him?
Man, that's a fact.
We ain't seen him in years, bro. He on that missing list at Walmart. Right when you check out, it's just all them bags, and then the people you ain't seen, and then they be like, we ain't seen them so long. This is what they would look like. They 30 now. You be like, whoa.
It's a computer-generated image.
I'm like, man, I'm not gonna say something, but chalk that up. There ain't nobody 30-year-olds coming back being like, yo, hey, here I am.
It's funny that you said that because I think, Jay, and I'll get your guys' thoughts on this. We talk about how I think there's 4 or 5 roster positions up for grabs.
And that's it.
But to me, the wide receiver decisions are going to be fascinating.
Yeah, I agree with that.
And I think that's the ones that we really need to focus in on. And because of that, that's who I'm most interested in seeing.
I told you guys in
the
April.
receivers.
I told you in April he wasn't making the team, and y'all yelled at me.
Who?
Everybody, maybe not you. Everybody on
Anthony
the set.
Schwartz?
No. Jakeem Grant. I said,
I agree with you on that.
Did you?
I wasn't here that
I mean,
day.
but he can't even get minutes. I'm like, dang, they ain't putting it. I don't know what's wrong.
So I don't think Grant's making the team.
Nope.
Schwartz is not making the team.
No.
And quite frankly, it might come down.
Well, there's only one spot, right? Or they keep
there's
6
two.
or 7.
I don't know.
No, at the price of 6, I think.
So there's only one spot.
Well,
They're not cutting David Bell after 1 year.
I think he's gone.
Oh,
No, I don't
doubt
think he is.
that.
You know
After
what?
1 year?
Here's why I would make the argument for it. Schwartz got a second year. Did he deserve it?
No.
Did he do anything with it?
No.
If it comes down to Austin or Bell,
I like Austin.
I've just seen. I like his routes. I like his hands. I haven't seen enough of them. That's why I really want to see. To me, tonight, I'm focusing on the
why
receivers.
couldn't they keep both? Who's the other guy?
Well, it's a numbers game. You can't
got
keep
the top
7.
4 with Tillman, we'll say.
Yes. Well,
And
Tillman's in. Tillman's not getting cut.
No, so I'm saying top 4 with Tillman.
Moore, DPJ, Amari Cooper.
Right, that's 4.
Right.
And then you could keep Austin and Bell. That's 6.
I'm missing somebody.
No.
I am. I think I'm missing. I feel like I'm missing
because
somebody.
it was Godwin, but he's out of the mix.
Did we throw Moore in there yet? We did. We threw Moore in there.
You're right.
Cooper, Moore, DPJ are your top 3.
Yeah.
Tillman. Bell's been the guy who we said has been locked.
They're keeping Bell, I think, and then Austin could be your 6.
That's probably it. That is probably it.
Who
For
else
some
is
reason,
there?
I felt like
But how many tight ends you keeping? Because
3, not 3. I don't want to keep 3 this year.
How many tight? 3. I think they're keeping 3 tight ends.
Well,
if they keep 3 tight ends, that you gonna keep. You can't take 6, 7 receivers.
I think they kept 3 in the past because they were so thin.
Maybe
at
they
wide
keep
receiver.
2, especially because they're going to have to keep 3 quarterbacks on the roster.
Yeah.
Because otherwise DTR will get claimed by somebody off
You're
of
right.
waivers.
You're right.
I don't think
You're right.
keeping 3 tight ends is an option. Jay?
No, I don't think they're
You don't
keeping
think so?
three.
Yeah, I just don't think they're going to do
I
it.
don't know.
I think they'll keep 2. And
So-
if that's the case, then Bell, and you can also keep Watkins on the list. He's related to Sammy Watkins somehow, right?
No.
So Harrison Bryant
Yes,
is
right?
cut then.
Is he cousin?
Yeah, I don't know.
Cousin, I think.
I think Harrison Bryant probably gets traded.
So they're
Oh,
gonna
wow.
Traded?
Okay, traded.
What are they going to get
It's
for
funny how
Not
tight ends.
much, but
it's funny how it's become a commodity
It's
now.
a premium position.
Yeah, and years ago you wouldn't have thought about it. You just would have let him go. But now, if you can get something for him,
Yeah.
and I
Seventh
think they
round pick.
probably could. So okay.
You get a late.
Also,
you'll
I
get a
am
late
watching
pick.
with
More
great
than
interest
that.
what the kicker does
More than
tonight.
Okay,
Because
That would be my guy.
Cade York, you got to make kicks, bro. You
Yeah.
got to make kicks, and I want a 50-yarder in the mix. I think the Browns might actually sandbag some drives.
Oh, yeah.
Specifically so they get him out there.
3rd and 8,
kick.
draw.
Yep.
Get out
let's
there.
Go kick.
Go
Let's
out there.
Let's
See what we
see
got.
what happens. I wish the game was here because is Cleveland Browns Stadium the most difficult NFL stadium to kick in?
I'd say Heinz Field is up there, or whatever they're calling it now.
Yeah.
Pittsburgh is
Buffalo.
up there too.
Yeah.
Buffalo, depending on the weather. But Cleveland and Pittsburgh, because of the wind.
Yes, the
I think
crosswinds.
those two are probably the most difficult.
Yeah,
I think.
and so someone was telling me, I tweeted to you guys that nobody responded to it, so I must have thought it was all a bunch of BS. But somebody sent it to me and said there is something to this Holder thing.
Yeah.
And they gave all of the
I
career
didn't see
kicker
it.
stats.
I didn't see it.
With Borquez, how do you say his name?
Yorkes.
Okay, with
Well, we talked about that last year.
We
Why
did.
wouldn't they have cut him if they think that's the reason?
Well, listen, I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not co-signing it. I guess I did co-sign it because I sent it out. I wanted to get your guys' thoughts
Yeah,
on
yeah,
it.
yeah.
It was another podcast. I don't even know what podcast it was. It might have been a Browns podcast because they were really going in deep. If you're talking about the Browns Holder,
Yeah.
it probably was. But someone did the research on what the kickers that he is held for have done. And all of them were at least 10 percentage points less than their career averages when he was
All
their
right,
holder.
but-
And I'm not pointing a finger at him.
Well, we talked about this a little bit last
we
year.
did, and I even had an in-depth conversation with Jay Feely
I
about
know,
it.
but
And I
again,
thought-
why wouldn't they have cut him?
And
if
I think
they believed it was his fault.
If I recall,
No, you don't cut him. You just,
Just
get
let
a new,
the-
you get a
let
new,
the-
Or get a
Let
new
the-
Holder,
let the
right? So
quarterback-
obviously,
quarterback.
the Browns don't think it's his fault.
Well, clearly they don't.
Right.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is, once is, can be an anomaly. Twice becomes a trend. 3 times
But
becomes.
they have all the numbers.
I would think that they do.
Maybe those numbers are misleading. I don't know.
I believe, if memory serves, Feely said it wasn't Bjorkes on the misses.
So Feely, it was different with Jay. I love Jay. I worked with him for a long time, and I get this, okay? And I don't want to throw darts at anybody, but a lot of people that transition from player to media have a real hard time publicly calling out someone that's in that profession, particularly a holder.
But he did originally blame him, and then he said he went back and looked at it and it wasn't his fault.
Okay, right.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I can just tell you that from our text conversations, it was a much different tone, which I understand.
I don't know.
You're going
I
to
think
say
that's-
things. You're going to say things in private.
Yeah.
It happens
Yeah.
to everybody. Journalists do it.
Oh,
Players
yeah.
do it. Coaches, general managers.
Honestly, I think it's a ridiculous conversation because
I think it's worth having, though.
but
Bull.
it's not, Jay, because the Browns have the numbers. If they thought there was something to it, they'd have somebody else holding the ball.
The Browns maybe make a mistake once in a while. It is the Browns.
I hear you, but if it was that obvious that it was the punter's fault,
I'm not even
they would
saying
change
it is. What I'm saying is when you have a guy that's held for 4 kickers, all of them were pretty good kickers. And their career stats were 86% makes, but when he held for them, they were 76%.
Well,
as
we
as
have
an
to look at it
organization-
year by year
All
to
right,
know their
my
career.
eyes
Well, they
are rolling
did.
in the back of my
Yeah,
head talking
they
about
did.
holders.
Yeah, I know you
Mikey,
care
what do you
about
got?
that, but
Yeah.
I just think look, I'm wondering if even in practice sessions they're having a backup quarterback hold for him just to see if he is more accurate with it. I don't know. I do know that the way the laces are facing is very, very critical to made field goals.
I blame
It
100%
is.
on Cade York. He makes his kicks or he gets the F out of here.
All right,
That's
Mike.
it.
Yeah, we
Mikey.
got to mention one more thing. We'll get to Craig Porter Jr., who we appreciate Craig taking the time. If you're not already a member of the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show, just got to ask, what are you waiting for? There's 2 different tiers, starters tier, coaches tier, $1.99, $4.99. It gets you special overtime perks and much, much more. But please help us out if you have the extra money in your budget this year to become a member. I promise you it is worth it. We had Craig Porter Jr. on yesterday. He couldn't do live. He had to do it at 3 o'clock, so we taped an interview with Craig Porter Jr., the Cavs rookie guard. He was awesome. You guys are going to love this. The first 18 minutes, audio is perfect. He hit a button on his phone for the last minute. It's a little off, but his answer was so good we had to keep it in here. So without further ado, let's welcome on the first active Cav to our show of all time, Craig Porter Jr. Well, on the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show, we have had NBA Hall of Famers. We've had Cavs legends. We've had former Cavs who were solid players, not great, but they play for the Cavs. We have yet to have an active member of the Cleveland Cavaliers on the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show live until right now, this moment. The drought is over, folks. We have the rookie sensation, Craig Porter Jr., the Summer League champ, making his UCSS debut. Craig, how you doing, man? Thanks for joining us today. We really appreciate you taking the time.
I appreciate y'all having me, man. You know, it's just a blessing, man.
Well, Craig, we'll get into some basketball stuff in a sec, but to give you a little background on this show, I don't think anyone hyped up Summer League more than the 3 of us did. It was life and death in some of these games. And yeah, I know it's Summer League, but a chip is still a chip, my man, and you have a ring on your finger to prove it. Can you walk us through the experience of Summer League and eventually winning a championship? Because the Cavs weren't necessarily one of the favorites to win it all before it started, but y'all wiped the floor with everyone in your way.
Yeah, I mean, it's really kind of just like you said. I mean, nobody really thought we was gonna do anything we did. But I mean, I just feel like our team, we just had a team that we just all kind of understood just how to play basketball the right way. I mean, we didn't have anybody who was taking just unnecessary shots or doing anything outside of what they needed to do. We were just playing like a team, so it worked out. We were just destroying everybody.
Craig, I kind of championed it, and Earl and us up here. You know, it's a lot of people that talk about practice in Summer League as if it don't count. And you know, as a person, you know, who played in high school and McNuggets played in Division 2, or we played Division
D3,
2.
it still counts. D3 still counts.
Anytime you get an opportunity to go out there and like make your way in the league and to put buckets up and to compete, that's important. Could you explain to the people out there why Summer League is important for guys, young guys like yourself, that's trying to cut their teeth in the league, and how it is important in springboarding you off into getting into NBA camps?
So I will say there's definitely a lot of people who think Summer League and things like that aren't necessarily as important or as, I guess, competitive as the NBA. But at the end of the day, it's still, you're playing against the guys who you're going to see on these NBA rosters. These are draft picks. These are people who are going to impact the league in the next 10 years or so. So really, I look at it, I mean, like, it's something you just got to give your all in. You never know who's watching. All the eyes are on you. You might match up with somebody that just got drafted top 10 and you're destroying them, even though they might not be doing what they're supposed to. I mean, but it still can shine a good light on you. And I feel like me doing what I did in the summer league and just playing effectively and just doing all the little things I do, I feel like it gave everybody a strong case of what I can do, even with the actual Cavs. So,
Craig, first and foremost, man, welcome to Cleveland, man. It's a pleasure to meet you. Huge fan of yours, not just saying it because you hear these two guys sitting next to me and tell you I've been hyping you up since you got here. Talk about the journey, man, as an undrafted rookie from Wichita State, you know, summer league champion. In my opinion, you're a young man that can be an instant contributor on the Cleveland Cavaliers actual roster this year. So just talk about the journey, man, you know, balling out at Wichita State, going undrafted, ended up in Cleveland.
I mean, it was a journey for sure. You know, my senior year at Wichita, I planned to hit the portal. I was going to come back home anywhere in Indiana, but, you know, I decided to stay there for my senior year, had my mom out there and stuff, so I mean, that was kind of like a second home. Got to do everything I wanted to do on and off the court. So it kind of worked out hand in hand, even though our record might not have showed how good we could have been. But, I mean, it just opened a lot of opportunities for me. A lot of people got to see what I was fully capable of doing with the ball in my hands and controlling the team. So really just once I finished my senior year and the pre-draft process started, I mean, I was kind of really just – like, I'm just going to go overseas, make some money, and that's just the end of it. I'm not – if ain't nobody calling me, then my NBA dreams, they not over, but it'll take a while. But then my agent, he got me into the Portsmouth Invitational for seniors and kind of just showed out there. All the NBA teams and scouts were there. And really just a lot of them were just like, yeah, we like the way you play and everything like that. And then the workouts started coming in. Every time I finished a workout, I had 2 or 3 new teams calling, trying to schedule them. So really just impressing people over, I mean, just passing the eye test. And just once I got in front of people, it was just one of those things where, okay, yeah, he might be undersized and stuff, but he can play and he just knows how to play basketball the right way. So really just getting in front of all those different people, it just made a big difference. And really just staying ready. I mean, because like I tell a lot of people, I didn't think I was going to be here. So, I mean, you never know what can happen in those few months.
Craig, stop selling your journey short, man. You started in JUCO, and I can't even pronounce. Is it Vincent's? How do you pronounce it, JUCO?
Vincennes.
Yeah, so you won a national championship as a starting freshman point guard in JUCO. Y'all had a chance to go back, ranked top 10 in the country. Then COVID happened. Does that still bug you? You didn't get a chance at redemption. I mean, I know you've obviously come much further in your basketball journey now, but you could have been a 2-time JUCO national champion had COVID not obviously stopped the world. I know that's got to still bug you. It would have bugged me if I was in your shoes still playing.
It definitely hurts a little bit, but I mean, it is what it is. Everybody had to miss something at that point, so I didn't hold too much of a grudge on it.
And when you were at Wichita State, I know you came back. I was doing some research. You were the first Shocker to sign an NIL deal, and your senior year was kind of the beginning of the NIL era. How much do you think that changed where you ended up playing your last year? Was that the only reason you came back, or were there other reasons you stayed in Wichita?
Honestly, it didn't really play too much of a big role because once I hit the portal, I had just about every school I could imagine. I had the Purdue's, I had all the big schools anybody would want to go to, so I could have really went just about anywhere without even being offered the NIL stuff. But I mean, I know I could have made 10 times more money at another school, but I mean, it was more than that. I kind of just took a challenge on myself, bringing in 10 to 12 new guys. I mean, just having to do everything, start everything from scratch, and just having the amount of time I did to do it. And I just knew that things like that would kind of translate and help me improve on the things I need to improve on to be a pro. And it definitely was a challenge, but even having my mom there, it was just another thing that kind of kept me there. So, yeah, it was a challenge though, but NIL is so crazy now. It ain't no telling what.
These deals are absurd now, man. Absurd.
You know, Craig, man, I gotta tell you, you got a strange game. Like, have anybody told your game? Because here's the thing, like you ain't big, but you play kind of bigger than you really is. Especially like when you watch the film, it's like you like a 6-foot rim protector or something. I'm like crazy. I'm like, what?
Craig, before you answer that, here's a stat for you. You are the first Wichita State player ever and the only player in American Athletic Conference history to finish top 10 in the same season in assists and blocks.
That's crazy.
That's like
crazy.
Jokic stuff, except
That's wild.
You're not Jokic.
When did you find out that you was like a lockdown defender on 2K with the hand badge? When did that happen, bro?
See, I always tell everybody who I've done interviews with, I kind of tell them because they ask me who my favorite players were growing up, and I just tell them it was a mix between Rondo and Dwight Howard. I don't know why.
That's strange.
That's the weirdest mix
ever.
Craig, you're an awesome guy. I like you, man. That's the weirdest mix of two players I've ever heard someone model their game after.
But it was really just the Dwight Howard part came in because when he was in Orlando in 2010 through 2013, it was just dude was so dominant, and I used to play on the little hoops outside my house all the time. So
right.
I'm dunk on everybody. I'm trying. So I don't know. It just kind of translated, and then even just going through high school and college, I kind of had to be more of a defensive player and a role player more. So really just understanding that, and then over the years it got a lot better as I got more athletic, and I'd say when I was in JUCO is when I kind of realized it was the craziest it was, because there was 2 or 3 games where I had 7 blocks. So it's
damn. I had 7 blocks in 4 years.
This is crazy, man. I mean, but that just goes to show you got to do certain things to get in the league. Like you hear guys like the vets say, "Look, you're not gonna come on here and get 10 shots. You got Darius Garland and Donovan Mitchell. But what you can do is you can play defense that will keep you on the floor." So, I was. That's the first thing that jumped out to me was your ability to play defense, man.
Hey, Craig, man, I'm one of those, chip on your shoulder type of dudes, right? You get to talking, telling me what I can't do, and it's going to piss me off to the point to where I'm going to tell you what I can do. Now, you and your teammate, Imani Bates, both on 2-way contracts. And if you listen to a lot of media members, they'll tell you, well, you guys can't be contributors to the Cavaliers. They don't go that deep on the bench. You guys are rookies. They're not expecting that much from you. To that, you say what?
I mean, it's just one of those things where basketball's, you never know who can do what on any given night. I mean, and I kind of point this back to Summer League a little bit, because the first few games I wasn't too happy with the amount of time I was playing, but at the same time I realized I'm playing behind some players that know how to play ball and they can put the ball in the hoop. So it's just one of those situations. It was unfortunate that Sharif got hurt, but that's one thing that opened the door for me. And it kind of led to a lot better play out of me. So, I mean, it's just one of those things where, yeah, we might be those 13, 14, 15 spots on the bench or whatever, but you never know when your number can get called. You got to stay ready at any moment. And the amount of work I've seen me and Imani and everybody just around here put in, I mean, it's honestly scary with how deep the team is. And it's honestly just any night it can be anybody going for 20, 30, or doing anything to just impact the game. I mean, it's just, honestly, I look at the roster every day and I'm just I don't know how they let everybody on this team get here.
I'm glad they did, bro.
Yep. Yeah,
I'm glad they did, man.
So, Craig, you get drafted by a team here that was a top 4 seed in the East last year. Obviously, the playoffs didn't go as expected. You're on a 2-way contract, and you're going to be up and down with the Cleveland Charge and the Cavs this year. I'm serious, and this is a genuine question here. As a rookie in the league for the first time, what do you think would be more beneficial to your growth as a player? Whether it's spending more time with the Charge and playing 30, 32 minutes a game, or being on the NBA roster and getting those sporadic minutes whenever Coach JB would put you in. But from your perspective, what do you think helps you grow more as a basketball player, at least in your first year here in the NBA?
Honestly, I feel like playing on both teams about the same would honestly be the most helpful, because I understand that I'm going to come in here earlier and I'm going to play a role to where I might get in 2 minutes, I might get in 12 minutes, but I know I'm not going to be the person coming in just taking all the shots and stuff. I'm going to have to play defense and all the little stuff, but at the same time, to keep my everything in tune with my game and my confidence and everything up, I would like to still be able to go back to the G League and just, work on my game a little bit and just just do a lot of that little stuff. So I mean, I feel like playing on both could actually be pretty beneficial, and I mean, I think that's pretty much the reason why the two ways and things like that are put in place, because it kind of helps develop in both ways.
Have you had the damn, I'm in the NBA, dog? Like, have you had that moment yet? Like, where it's just like, boom, it just hit you, or is it more like the regular season when you see some of the dudes like, you know, Steph, or you might have to play against guys that you look up to, De'Aaron Fox? I mean, this league is crazy when it comes to point guards. I mean, every single night you're going to see a different guy that you grew up watching.
Yeah. But nah, it's weird. I don't think it's hit me. Like, even when, after the draft, like, I knew how the whole draft night was going to go. And, like, I was already prepared for that phone call after and everything. So, like, even when that happened, I was just like, I casually told my family, and they was all turned. I'm just like, I mean, I see why y'all happy and everything.
Right.
Well, I think it's going to take me getting out there and, like, being in the games for real, and like just being just in them games for real, because I don't know, it just ain't hit me yet, honestly.
Wow, man.
Yo, Craig, back to your teammate Imani Bates. Do you believe the Cleveland Cavaliers got a steal? I know me and this man right here to my left, G. Bush, we are some big Imani Bates fans. I said my man can come in there, play about 10 minutes a game. Talk about what you see firsthand from being around him every day, his work ethic, and I'm pretty sure he hear the noise just like you.
Mm-hmm. You know, me and him, I mean, we talk and hang out every day, so like I get the ins and the outs of it, and his work ethic alone just puts him that far ahead, because a lot of times I forget that he's only 19, so like 23, and I'm just like, I feel good and everything, but I'm like, dude, all these people passed up on him, and I'm like, I'm glad you're on my team.
Facts.
Like, he's one of those players, like, you don't have to tell him more than once. You don't have to coach him too much. I mean, he just knows how to play. And really, every team he's been on, he's had to be that main scorer. So people think he forces a lot of shots. But if you even look at the summer league, he understands how to play with other players. Like the numbers is just, it's gonna fall for him. And he's got great size. He's a true 6'9". But I mean, if he can get a little more built and everything like that, like I don't see anything that could keep him off the floor, honestly.
I love that. Craig, I told you we talk a little hoops. We have a little fun, too. It's time for the fun portion of this. I got two questions for you, but I need to ask the first one. You guys won a Summer League title in Vegas. I know if you put me and 10 of my best friends in Vegas when we were all 21, 22, some of us maybe not 21, and we just won a championship, I don't know, I would have made it out the next day. Let's just put it that way. So, yeah, you know where I'm going with this, Craig. How was that night in Las Vegas? Good time?
See, I'm a little different. I can't speak for everybody else because I was in a rush to get home.
Okay.
I'm not gonna lie. I felt like we was out there way too long. But nah, really a lot of us, honestly, we didn't get to celebrate too much because everybody was kind of drained, just playing that many games and stuff over 10 days. But I mean, we definitely celebrated a little bit. You know, we had our fun, but a lot of us, our flights left out at midnight, and we had just played a game that got over at like 8-9 p.m. So it wasn't too much, but we definitely had a little bit of fun before that. Yeah. So.
I like that. It's not the answer I was hoping for, but I like the answer. You got to keep the guys.
Allegedly.
Allegedly,
hey,
flights left at
no
12.
dry snitching. No dry snitching.
My second question, Craig. So I played D3 basketball at Emerson. My coach called me a 6x6 player. You stay 6 feet out the paint because you can only jump 6 inches off the ground. So all I did was stand in the corner and shoot threes, and that was it. So, Craig, obviously, that is not your game. What's it like to dunk? That's got to be, like, putting someone on a poster has to be the coolest feeling in the world that I know the three people in this panel right now combined. G, you catch a dunk?
Come on, man. I'm 6'5".
You have no knees, though. You have no knees.
Young G. Bush was catching back lobs. You know what I'm saying? Give me that baseline screen off the flex option. Stop playing with your boy.
Hey, Craig, he doing more than me, man. I done told my guys already. I'm the only black man in the world who can't dribble between his legs, and I shoot like Bill Cartwright. So
what's it like to Craig, let me know, man. What's it like to put someone on a poster? It's my lifelong goal that as I get older and older, I know it's just never going to happen.
Yeah, nah, it's fun and all, but I mean, it's harder to do than people think. Like you got to jump that much more higher. But I mean, it's something when it happens. You get to talk your shit. So,
Look at that. I just want one picture. One picture like that.
And when you get to throw up on the gram, you like, ooh, that bitch finna do numbers. Like that to go. But nah, it's definitely it's fun doing it, especially if you catch somebody that's bigger than you. That's the most fun because then you get to talk hella shit. So.
You speak of the gram, like, you know what I'm saying? One of the best things about hooping is the kick game, is the shoot game. I feel like I'm sincere about it, like, but Hooper's got a different, like, whole different wave. Like, PJ Brown just do it big. What is the first pair of shoes that you wanted so bad and you got them and you wore them to school and you thought it was over? Like, you got them kicks and it was just like, you had to have them. You had to.
When I really remember this because it's the first and last time I ever do some shit like this. I was a sophomore in high school. I think this was like 26. I think the flu game 12s they was about to, and I went to the mall. I skipped school and everything. I went to the mall early. I'm outside the store waiting. I got them. Came to school at like 10:30. Walked in with them business. I was like, yeah, I'm that.
Yeah, I'm here. I am him.
I am him. Yeah, but then that's probably the last pair of shoes I really would ever do something like that for. And then I'd say the next pair, I had bought some off-white dunks. My second year in college, or third, or I think it was when I first got to Wichita, and then I had walked into the all student athletes meeting. The
off-whites.
Hey, Craig, I got to know this, man. I asked every Cleveland athlete this question when I first met him. You've been in Cleveland for a couple months now, man. I am straight out the inner city, straight out the trenches, 148th and Lakeshore. Have you had a staple yet? Meaning the corned beef sandwich or the Polish boy? And if you have had one of the two, what's your favorite?
I haven't had them.
All right, so this is what we're going to do. This is what we're going to do. We're going to set it up, man. Maybe you'll talk to your agent, however, man. But Slimans. You need to go to Slimans to get you a corned beef sandwich. Go to Open Pit off of St. Clair to get you a Polish boy, bro. Like, you got to have one of the Cleveland staples, man. I'm surprised ain't none of your teammates took you to get a Cleveland staple yet, man. You got to have one. I love you at Slimans.
Definitely pull up. See what you're talking about. But nah, really, a lot of the team ain't really been here too much. They all been a lot of vacation and stuff, but I've been around the city a little bit, but not too much. Just really chilling right now.
One more before Mike wrap you up, man. You a football fan? If so, who your favorite team?
Steelers, man.
Oh, Lord. Oh, Lord. Oh. Damn, man.
Damn.
He was on a trajectory to start him in Cleveland, and how the mighty fall with one word, my man.
I can't fold on him.
Hey, I respect it, though. You staying true to it. We'll see y'all week 2. We'll see y'all week 2.
Well, Craig, we'll take you to Slimans at one point. We'll get you out of here on this. We're in Cleveland. LeBron is obviously an Akron kid, played for Cleveland. I got to ask as we wrap this up. MJ or LeBron, who's the GOAT?
Oh, LeBron.
There it is.
Redemption.
There it is. He's back. He's back. You're right back.
I ain't gonna lie, I don't even see how they have those debates for. Like, don't get me wrong, it's not no clear blowout, but like, you can't disregard that he, like, come on, bro. Ain't nobody ever gonna do what he did ever again. I don't care who it is.
Awesome. Well, that is Craig Porter Jr., the rookie guard for the Cleveland Cavaliers. We hope to see him in the NBA sooner rather than later. Craig, if you ever want to come back, open invite. You are more than welcome. We'll love to have you. And you come in, we take you to Slimans. It's right down the street. Easy money.
We got to get Imani. I want to see the older Mobley. I want to see Merrill. We want all the homies to pull up on us. So
not only that, man, tell Sharif to get well soon. So my daughter is a basketball player at Warrensville High School, and her favorite player is actually his sister, Tia Cooper. So tell Sharif, man, pull up on us, man. We'll let her interview him.
I'm gonna try to get them Hollywood cats down there, man. I'm gonna try to see if they'll pull up down there too, but definitely try to get some stuff.
So it's been a pleasure, my man.
Awesome. That is Craig Porter Jr. of the Cleveland Cavaliers. Craig, we appreciate you. Safe travels, and we will talk to you soon, my man. Have a good one.
Mike, you're right. How likable is that kid?
Yeah, minus the Steelers remark, it was
That was the only
as
thing
likable
yeah.
as humanly possible.
What a likable kid.
He's a really good dude.
Good-looking kid, like a marketable kid.
Already said he wants to come back, by the way. So
Good.
Nice.
Good. And you believe that he will be an NBA player.
Yeah, I think he can contribute. I don't think he'll be a guy we see a lot of on the NBA team for the Cavs this year, but I do think down the road he has the
You loved him in
to
the
do
summer
things.
league.
Yeah, he was really good. And he does all the little things that help winning. If you look at his career, he won a high school championship. He won a JUCO national championship. His team was ranked #1 in the country in JUCO before COVID, so he didn't get a chance to defend that. He goes to Wichita State, leads them to an American Athletic Conference championship, won a summer league championship. He does all the when you have a player who has that resume.
Yeah.
I know you say it doesn't matter, whatever, but
Mike,
that's
let me
a lot
ask
of championships.
Let me ask you an important question here.
Yes.
Did you guys finally get something right on the 32 at 32?
We have Greg Newsome at number 15. So what do you think?
You got him at what number?
Greg Newsome, number 15.
I'd say
like
that's
it.
slightly high. But it's in the
A
ballpark.
pinch, but I think it's all right.
Did you ever do yours?
No. I keep telling Mike to remind me. He never remind me.
I need you to remind me. You got to text me to remind
Well, can you remind Mike to remind you?
I will text you to text me.
Yes.
All right, Jay, you remind G. G, you remind me. I'll remind Mike. Mike, you remind
The
Bull.
worst. What was the worst? Oh, it was JOK, I think, was the worst.
Well, but there was a major mistake that was made when Mike was gone.
Oh, yeah, the special teams coach ahead of starting players. Yeah.
That was the snafu.
Yeah.
Well, I think this is pretty close. I mean, I would say that Newsome is definitely in the teens.
Yeah, I mean, he's right in the ballpark of where he belongs.
Yeah.
You know, listen, Greg Newsome, you know, he needs to just be completely focused on football.
Okay, now, you said that Tuesday, and I completely agree with
Yeah.
you. But explain that.
I
know that
I just got to be careful what I say.
I know you do.
Yeah.
But
he's
been
out too
involved
much.
in some stuff that was on the fringe.
Yes.
Let's just put it that way.
He's just out too much.
Yes.
From a very reliable source.
Yes.
Now, I get it. He's a young man. He's 23, 24
Got money
years
in his
old.
pocket.
I get he wants to be out. A lot of players go out.
Sure. A lot of
He's
players
out-
don't.
He's out a little too much.
Yeah.
From what I've been told. Now, maybe my information's wrong.
No,
but I
I'm hearing
I feel
the
like it's
exact
pretty
same
solid.
thing. He was.
I'm talking about during the season. In the off season, do whatever the hell you want. I don't care.
Yeah. Well, don't do whatever the hell.
Well, you know, within reason. But in season, there's a time to party. There's a time to not.
Yeah.
And being out till 3 a.m. all the time is just not ideal.
Jay,
can't argue that.
Nothing good happens after 2 o'clock.
10 p.m. according to Tressel. Jim Tressel used to say nothing good happens after 10 p.m. So
he was
he's
super
really dialed it
conservative.
back. Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
You know,
he had never himself been outside of his own home after 10 p.m.
I know. We talked
Except
about
for
this.
midnight mass.
We talked about this a little bit on Tuesday. Yeah. You know, I think it was it was an adjustment for him last year. It was going to a new spot. He had a lot of ego to swallow. He got bumped off a spot he didn't think he was going to get bumped off of. He was asked to do things that he wasn't comfortable doing. Hopefully this year it's different. It's the same responsibilities in terms of slot corner as opposed to being on the outside. But, you know, Tyvus, I think, has done a good job in the past of explaining what was asked of him under Joe Woods. Probably won't be asked of him here. Mm-hmm. So I'm expecting a big season out of him.
I want him to bounce back.
I think he's a very
and
good
he wasn't
player.
that bad. I don't want to make it seem like he had a terrible year last year, but he went backwards.
Yeah.
Because he played great as a rookie.
There was, I think, a slight step backwards.
Yeah.
But to me, a lot of this was through no fault of his own. A guy came in and played lights out.
That's right. Played better than him.
And sometimes you get Wally pipped. You know, not that he lost his spot because he got hurt. You know, Wally Pipp was the first baseman that got hurt, and Lou Gehrig came in, and 130 games later,
We
Lou
need a more
Gehrig left
modern
first
reference.
base. Yeah,
I feel
people
like
don't
nobody
understand
knows
that
who
reference.
Wally Pipp is.
You do.
Well, I do, but Jason
And I bet
probably
Jay does.
Yes, I do.
Yeah,
Of course I do.
Jason probably
Oh, yeah,
does.
yeah,
He became a
But
verb.
most people
If
don't.
you got pipped,
Yeah.
and this was big in the 70s, 80s, and 90s, but
Right.
young kids
Right.
today
We
have
need a
no
modern
idea.
It's we have the old geezer translator.
Yeah, that's exactly
like the
right.
Young kid
Yeah,
cap
let us
translator.
explain to you young kids.
Yeah.
When you're pipped, that means you lost your spot because
Yeah.
of injury. And in the case of Wally Pipp, which why he became the poster child for it, He was replaced by Lou Gehrig when he got hurt. Lou Gehrig never came out of the lineup for 2,130 games.
Right. That's right.
So,
We call that ski mask. I put the ski mask on. I'm about to get this money off because your position got snatched up. I'll tell you like this, man. My dad used to always say, man, look, everything is the next level. Every 5 years in your life, you can recreate yourself, right? Because that's how quickly things roll. Like 5 years, you could be working a job doing manual labor. Next 5 years, you could be in a corporate office. Like you could be in shape in 5 years. Next time somebody see you, you could be fat and out of shape. Every 5 years, you could recreate yourself. And a lot of these dudes that come out of college, they got the first round pedigree. They get picked, they get the first round pick, or whatever the case may be, and then they there. Greg Newsome starting. He
didn't even get 5 years.
He didn't even get 5 years. It was 3 because guess what? Somebody came along. And he wasn't trying to hear that. You got to reprove yourself all the time. Bull, you in the radio. It's a lot of dudes that's going to be up out of radio here in the next 4 years, and they're going to try to adjust and go to this internet game. Mm-hmm. And it's completely different. The internet game is different from radio. They're going to be trying to do the same things and move. You got to learn to move a different way. So these guys, you got to add something to your bag. Your bag. You got to add something to your tricks. Like Magic said, man, when I was playing against Larry, I knew Larry was going to bring something different to the court next year. So I had to come back and bring something new that I'm going to do. Maybe it was a no-look. Maybe it was I got to work on my three-point shot because they doubling down on Kareem. You got to come in and you got to bring something to the game. I want to see him be aggressive and make plays. I came in and what's the name said, he was like, don't tell me, don't tell me the labor pains, just show me the baby.
Show me the baby.
And one of my greatest coaches, the defensive line coach, Ray McCartney, he said, look, man, it's all about what you're doing on that production sheet. Listen, if you just in your gap, I'm going to get fired. Being in your gap don't count. Knocking down balls don't count. I need picks. I need making plays. I don't need none of that other stuff. I need him to get into his mental capacity and tap into that aggressiveness. And I need him and Denzel Ward. Because let's be truthful.
Yeah.
Denzel Ward, this Denzel Ward is not the same Denzel Ward we saw when he first got here.
Nope.
It ain't the same. Let's just be clear. That hunger, the jumping. If the Browns want to get where they want to go, I get it, it's Deshaun Watson. But there's a lot of people that also have to take that next step.
True.
That's a good point.
And Greg Newsome is a first-round pick. Denzel Ward, they paying you. He get the biggest slide. Myles Garrett take darts. Nick Chubb is about to get cut. Deshaun Watson is on the chopping block. David Njoku, we don't even know why you on the team, but Denzel Ward be skating. He getting paid like a top 3 corner.
And as soon as he got paid like a top 3 corner,
he had a bad year. So this is as big of a year for Denzel Ward and Greg Newsome because if they can become lockdown corners, now you're talking about something special on the defensive side with that D-line.
By the way,
it's crazy.
Before I get to do we have time to do my list?
Yeah, I want to tease one thing for tomorrow real quick.
I will say, you might be onto something, though, real quick, though, Mike. Cam in Canada might be Deshaun Watson's burner account.
Might be.
He might be.
Really?
He might be.
I thought that he got a special batch of Kool-Aid.
Yeah.
I even tweeted, I said, that Kool-Aid he's drinking strong.
Go ahead, Mike.
If you guys haven't already hit that like button, please do us a favor, hit that like button and subscribe to the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show. It is completely free, and you'd be shocked at how YouTube's algorithm takes that into consideration. Help us out. It's free. It takes 2 clicks of the button. We very much appreciate it. Tomorrow's 32 for 32 is our most controversial one yet. I'm just going to tell you. I'm not going to tell you the player, but one person ranked this player 7th, one person had them 13th, and one person had them 28th.
All right.
Oh, that's crazy. That sample size is it's too all over the place.
All right.
I'm not telling you who it is. I'm not telling you who ranked. I'll make a graphic with it, but we go from 7 to 13 to 28.
So tomorrow's going to be hot.
Tomorrow's going to be a hot one.
Are we even going to get to it tomorrow?
Yeah, we will make sure
I'm
we
not
get
even
to
here
this.
for it. That sucks.
You're off tomorrow?
Yeah, it's my son's open house at school. I want to meet his teachers, and it's happening during the time of the show.
If DTR throw for 300, we ain't getting to it.
Oh, boy. I might have to call in.
He'll call in
I
for
should
that.
call in. All right, let me give you my...
Yeah, both do your top 5.
Top 5 guys I'm rooting against this year in the NFL.
Nice.
Hate.
Haterade. Baker's
it's sponsored by Haterade.
A.K.A. the Petty LeBeau special.
Yes, it is.
We haven't just mentioned Petty LeBeau
Wait,
in a
Bo,
while.
before you start, I need to put a chat in the
It
poll
literally
real quick.
is.
Yeah.
We need
Yeah.
I want the chat to guess or give us their honest opinion. Is Bull capping with this, or is this all fake? So Bull.
Am I
Chat will
capping?
grade whether or not you're
Cap and
authentically.
crunch.
what
All
you
right,
say,
number
yeah.
5. This will surprise you. Number 5 is Baker Mayfield. He's
No,
not
it's too
number
low.
one.
Cap. You
Cap.
No.
Cap.
Let me tell you why.
Hey, G. Bush, pass your cap to Bull. Pass your cap.
can
I'm
I-
calling
Number
cap
1, 2,
already.
and 3 on
If
your
I
list.
explain the reason, you will understand why I have him at 5. See,
it's blue.
originally, when I made this list, he was number 1, which seemed obvious.
Which is-
and then I thought about who else I'm really rooting against this year, and I'm like, Baker is so irrelevant at this point.
Yeah, that's what
and
I was
such a nothing.
What I kept
that
telling
he
you is,
should-
Bull, why are you wasting your energy on him?
Exactly. That he should barely be on the list. I almost took him off completely.
Okay.
Because he's not even worth paying attention
But
to.
he is, I guarantee you, if he in week 1 goes 11 of 31 with
Yeah.
3 picks, I'll get a
I'll be
text from you
thrilled.
in minutes.
I'll be thrilled.
They got
You'll have a
talent.
party.
I want him
They
to
got a
play
little bit of
terrible.
talent down there. Don't get it twisted. They got some talent.
They got
Like,
wide receivers.
They got wide receivers.
No
Hey,
doubt.
that's right.
No doubt. Number 4 is not a player. It's Josh McDaniels. I hate Josh McDaniels.
Wow.
I can't stand him.
Hate is such a strong word.
I say hate. I don't really mean hate.
Shout out to the McDaniels.
Why?
family.
What is the beef?
So it's the same as what's his name, Cliff Kingsbury. I feel like these guys have been handed jobs that they haven't earned. He was a disaster
because
in
of the
Denver.
quarterbacks they were lucky enough to coach.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Disaster in Denver. He was embarrassingly bad. He gets this Raiders job. The Raiders had been decent the year before. They had gone to the playoffs. They went completely backwards.
They did.
He kicked out. I'm not a big Derek Carr fan, but he's better than Jimmy Garoppolo. They kicked out their longtime quarterback. They blamed him. They can't ever be any good on defense. I want him to fail. I can't.
How many
stand him.
chances is he going to get?
I know, it's ridiculous.
And one thing before you go, real quick.
Yeah.
How in the hell did Cliff Kingsbury age 50 years in the last 5?
It's weird.
In that Manziel documentary?
Yeah, he looks very old.
It's called having Kyler Murray as your quarterback.
No,
Yeah,
it's
maybe.
called having a bag of money and living the life. He's the only coach that I know that parties during the week.
Well, he can party all he wants now.
That's
How
right.
you a
rest
coach,
of his life.
How you a coach and you know where Johnny at because you was with him?
That's a very good point.
That's
Bro,
right.
what you talking about? Come
Number
on, Cliff.
3, Odell Beckham Jr.
Really?
I was the biggest Odell fan when he was on the Giants.
How you hating?
I banged the table for Odell
You did what?
to get him to Cleveland.
Pause.
I banged the table, man. I did what I had to do. I banged it.
Pause.
Super.
What exactly does that look like?
You don't want to know.
It's some sort of fetish.
Yeah. It's secret.
It involves
There's
meat
a-
and turkey
There's
and
porn
ham.
for everything, Jay. There's porn for everything. But OBJ is a fraud. He hasn't been a great.
Dang.
He hasn't been a great player in about 5-6 years.
He was effective in L.A.
He was effective in the playoffs. I give him that. But in the regular season, there he did nothing.
What is he
He's
doing to
much
you?
bigger in name than in
Way
Well, no, I'll
productivity.
give you that. I'll give you that.
He's the
I'm
biggest.
actually rooting for him.
He's
though.
the biggest drama queen in the NFL,
hasn't
and
been-
he's playing for the Ravens.
He hasn't said
No, I
anything
know,
in
I
weeks.
know, but
We haven't heard
weeks.
from him in weeks.
In weeks. He hasn't
Weeks,
been
weeks,
in
and
weeks.
He even went to the owners meeting and
No.
adapted up with Stefanski.
I love that move. By the way, that's a
Yeah.
boss move.
That
Yeah,
got
it
him.
was.
That got him
Got
hired.
him signed.
Yep.
Number 2, the most not likable player in the NFL, Aaron Rodgers. I
Yeah,
hate this
I
guy.
figured he'd be on
I hate everything about him. He's even the only bigger drama queen than Odell is Aaron Rodgers.
What about Antonio Brown?
Well, he's out of the league. Otherwise, he would have been on the list.
Yeah.
Plus, I don't like the New York teams. I always want them to fail.
Okay.
And so I consider, even though I don't mind Daniel Jones, I almost put him on the list because I want the Giants to be bad too.
Yeah.
But he's all right. He doesn't bother me that much.
Bull spends a lot of time thinking about who he wants to sign.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I want Aaron, because Jets fans are so cocky.
Oh, they're the worst.
Your boy and the most vanilla personality in the history of ESPN, Mike Greenberg.
Don't call him my boy.
I'm kidding.
We worked at the same place.
I'm kidding. Mike Greenberg made his I know he's a Jets fan.
Yes.
But, I'm not biased when it comes to my predictions. I ripped it. Trust me, if I did a show about the Cubs, especially, I'd rip them a million times. Bengals, too, until the last couple of years. I would have killed them forever. But he says the Jets are the biggest threat in the AFC to the Chiefs. What a buffoon. Jet fans, their franchise is a joke. They're as big a joke as the Browns or the Bengals have been, and yet they're cocky because they're New Yorkers. And I'm cocky too as a New Yorker, so I get it. But
you're
can't be
realistic.
But you got to be realistic. The Jets have a nice team. They should be better.
I don't like
They're
that.
in the mix.
I don't like that Dalvin.
Well, you
Cook.
got 90 seconds. Who's number 1?
Number 1's Kenny Pickett. F that guy. I hate him. I hate the Steelers. I hate every Steeler fan, except for my friend Andy because he's a great man. Besides him, I hate every Steeler fan.
Aditi's not a fan, but
No, she's not a fan. She grew up a Giants.
but her
fan.
husband's a fan. You don't hate
bleep him too. And I hate the Steelers. I think Kenny Pickett's a fraud. Everybody's going nuts about this guy. I can't stand him.
Did you see what Ryan Clark said about him?
Right.
What?
About no, he said it about George Pickens.
Yeah.
He said
More
Pickens is
talented
more
than Justin
talented
Jefferson.
than Justin Jefferson.
Ryan Clark.
And I love Ryan Clark.
Ryan Clark is out of pocket. Did I use that correctly?
Yeah, yep, that's it.
Good
You-
job.
Out of pocket.
You got
He's out of pocket.
That's-
Cap him. So are the Steelers.
Cap him.
I'm
Bill's
capping
calling cap.
the Steelers. F the Steelers. I hate them, and I want
Did
them
you
to be
see
on the
Sir
phone.
Yacht's list of the most obnoxious fan bases?
I did.
He had the Steelers at number 5 and at number 1.
I know, that was good.
Which I loved.
That was good.
Very well done.
Thank
Well, that was
you.
a good rant.
Thank
It
you.
was.
That was a really good rant. It
was.
And I don't disagree with any of that, although I still think that in your mind,
Baker's always number
if we
one.
gave you truth serum,
Yes.
your list would look like this. Baker would be at number 5. At number 4 would be Baker.
Yeah.
At number 3 would be Baker. And number
Yeah.
2 and number 1 would be Baker.
I mean, I was kind of insulting Baker by putting him at 5.
He would have Baker in an Oklahoma jersey at 5, Baker in a Rams jersey
Hey,
at 4,
yeah.
Baker
What if
in a
Baker
Texas
has a
Tech
great
jersey.
year?
I will
If
take
they-
the most satisfaction out
They
of
start
Baker.
4-1.
Not overtime.
That's why
We'll
he's
see
your
y'all.
number 1.
Peace.